Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Top Flight Pod. You know what it is. You know what we're here to do. Back in studio today. Beautiful Austin, Texas. I'm with the boys. We got some special guests in here all the way from Charlotte. We got the guys from TopBin90. What a pleasure to have these guys here. B, I'll start off with you, maybe before we get to our guest. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's a full house in studio, man. You know, the boys coming through. Good to have y'all here, and I'm ready to talk about the game.
What a link up.
What a link up, yeah.
Generational link up. That's what people are saying on social media right now.
The Charlotte Goats are in as well.
The Charlotte Goats are in here. The Charlotte Goats are here. So we'll start off with my G George here, right here next to me. Brother, how are you doing? Welcome to Austin, of course. How are you seeing this city, this town?
Listen, man. First of all, thank you guys for letting us join. We're excited to be here today. You know, like you say, we may be the Charlotte Goats, but you guys are like the Austin Goats, bro. So, like,
Ooh. Game recognized game.
yeah, 100%. So, I mean, I've loved our time here in Austin. You know, we're Latinos, so while we're here, we had to go out, explore, you know. So we had a good time. You know, our last day here, but we had a great time so far. Q2 was amazing, our first time there, and we'll get a little bit more into that here in a bit, but we really enjoyed being at Q2 yesterday.
Now, Emmanuel, my G,
¿Qué pasó?
el señor de la tierra del tequila.
That's true.
Welcome to Top Flight Studios, bro. We hear what George has to say about Austin. I mean, what do you think about this town?
I mean, he said it all pretty much. I mean, I don't have a whole lot to add to that. I mean, beautiful stadium.
Put the mic a little closer.
Oh,
There you go.
beautiful stadium. Yeah, dude, beautiful stadium. Great atmosphere. The supporter section was crazy. Love the water thing to keep you fresh and cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, there's that, and I mean,
You got hit a
yeah,
couple
the-
times.
the-
I've seen it.
I got I mean, he was right in front of me.
Yeah.
We should have warned them.
It
didn't matter.
He did not warn me.
Bring an umbrella.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I mean, the
it was-
city in itself is beautiful. So I mean, we'll be back for sure.
That's awesome. That's good to know. And we got to go to Charlotte, bro.
We have to. We have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to see if the bank is as hype as it appears in the TopBin90 video.
Listen, bro, you know, once Pepas gets going right before the game starts, you know, it gets bumping. So
Bro,
you'll see that.
Not only Pepas, I mean, I've seen you guys capture the stadium where they do that. What's it, the pause?
The Poznan?
The
Poznan,
Poznan?
yeah.
That's insane. The whole stadium takes place with that. They all
Yeah,
engage in it.
So they adopted that. So once everyone hears Pepa plays, that's when the Poznan comes in.
Okay.
And then everybody starts jumping up and down, and you go around. It's magical, man. We've had magical nights at the bank for sure.
Where did that come from? How did that
The
come
Polish
to be?
players.
Yeah, so
Oh,
once
okay.
you know, the very first season we had
Makes sense.
Kamil Yazwiak, we had Karol Swiderski, and Jan Sobocinski. So we had like three, you know, Polish players. So it kind of was a thing. Then it just kind of took over, you know.
Do the players? I mean, they obviously notice it, but have the players ever commented on it?
They do. They love it, man.
love
They
it.
love
They
the
love that
atmosphere
stuff, man.
that, you know, the Charlotte fan base has created for them at the home game. So
Yeah. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome to hear. Because, I mean, it sounds like the stuff that Austin FC players say, right? That the stadium atmosphere. But like I said, we got to go to Charlotte.
Yeah,
Next
we
time,
do. I mean, we're
see what it's out
Charlotte and
there.
Austin are new clubs. Like
Yeah.
y'all were supposed to start when we started, but y'all got delayed a year.
We're talking about that, yeah.
But just having two new clubs, having the atmospheres that we each have, it's really I'm grateful. It's a blessing. It's awesome.
we might be pushing the bar up every year on how MLS atmosphere should be.
100%, bro. You guys are our twin flame, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
East,
I like
mean,
that. That might be the title. Bro. That might be the title.
Twin Flames.
Twin
Yeah.
Flames.
I like that. I like that.
Oh, not Netflix
But-
getting free clout.
All right, we do got an episode to get into. We're gonna talk about the game and stay to the end because we're gonna get into our lives as creators. You know, something that we want to talk about. TopBin90 and We're Watching TV. We do very similar stuff, and we're gonna try to get into a little bit of the background. But before we get into the episode, it's very important to me that I say this. A special episode to me, of course, the guests that are here. But I want to send a shout out to Texas Citizen, big supporter of the podcast. He's always, you know, giving us advice here and there. I see him as a mentor. Meeting him was one of the most significant events in my adult life. I think he changed my life for the better. He just lost his dad, and I just want to send him my condolences, and I want to send him strength, and just know that the Austin FC community is with you, bruv. So we can get into the episode now. All right, boys. On that note, Charlotte FC versus Austin FC, 2-2. Last night in Austin, Texas, both teams shared points. I was talking to a lot of Charlotte fans outside Q2, and they were saying that the point should have gone to the Queen City. They were saying that, you know, it should have been a 4-2, it could have been a 5-2, and they shouted out Brad Stuver. They were saying that this goalkeeper
Quality.
is quality, just like my G George is saying here. So I want to get y'all's initial thoughts, and then I'll get B's after. But George, starting off with you, mate, your overall thoughts on last night's match.
Yeah, man, I gotta agree. I think it was a contested match, you know. I think possession-wise, it was right around there 50-50. But I gotta agree with the Charlotte fans. The better opportunities to finish the game off came from Charlotte. You know, you had Soderski hitting the post. You had that point blank header that Brad Stuver saved. I'm sorry, and it was an electric night. And for us, you know, we're coming off of a midweek game too, where we got a draw and coming to Austin. So I got a chance to talk to some of the players afterward from the Charlotte FC side, and they were all disappointed they couldn't get the 3 points. So with that being said, you know, it felt like that game should have went our way.
My G, Emmanuel, I want to get your takes, bro, because you also live this game just like we do. I mean, what was your overall thoughts from last night? I mean, I think you're going to have maybe the similar take to what George is telling us here. You think that Charlotte should have taken those 3 points home?
Yeah, I mean, I was honestly surprised we didn't take them. I mean, it's just the way we played. We dominated most of each half. And, I mean, it was just, for me, it just really felt like a loss. Just because, I mean, you guys are not in y'all's best form, right? You don't have your best player. You know, you don't have Drusy. And then we have a squad that's been coming in strong. They've had everything that we needed. I mean, we never expected Kevin Vargas to be our top scorer right now, and he is. And, I mean, I feel like he underperformed last night. And that could have been why we didn't take it. But Swiderski did amazing. We just got unlucky.
Now, you interviewed me before the match. You asked me what my prediction was for the game. I said 1-1. For a period of time, the game was at 1-1, and I was like, I was thinking in my head, I was like, yo, I'm gonna look great if they said that 1-1. It did end 2-2, but what I told you in that interview, made in that video, you know, I said a draw would be lovely.
Yeah.
You know, I said a draw would be lovely, and from an Austin point of view, I know a lot of people were very upset with the final result, be outside of Q2 Stadium, talking from an Austin point of view. But against a team like Charlotte, with the recent games that they've had, the recent performances, the coach that they have, and how we're stumbling into this game, I was happy with the point. And I don't know if that's a hot take. I know a lot of people at home, they demand wins, and I demand wins as well. But I also am realistic about what the team picture is looking like right now. So I'm happy we didn't lose, because the Charlotte fans outside Q2 Stadium, they took over the Zebra Gate, mate. While we were doing fan reactions, you might be able to hear them during the fan reactions videos. That audio might have picked them up. Imagine if they would have won. What would they have done at the Zebra Gate if Charlotte FC would have won last night, mate? I don't even want to think about the scenes. But B, your overall thoughts on the match last night. We hear what the Charlotte point of view is. They're upset they didn't take these 3 points. What does Austin feel tonight?
I mean, it speaks a lot on the form of each team coming in. Like you said, we were down. We were like, you know, we were going in bad form, and then y'all coming in hot after beating Cincy on the road, tying against the MLS champs in Columbus, and then coming into Austin for this game. So y'all are upset that y'all only got the point, and we're kind of glad that we got the point. It just says a lot about our current situation. You know, also, but on the game, I wouldn't look. Maybe Charlotte deserved to win because Stewart had a stellar performance, but both Charlotte goals to me, I think, came off just mistakes from us. So I mean, yeah, y'all looked more lively. I think y'all looked more likely to win the game, but I mean, you take those mistakes out, that game should be ours if you think about it like that. And that's the way I see it.
I want to say this.
I still am grateful for the point. I'm grateful for the point, but to the fans outside, it's just our fan base just demands those 3 points, in which I'm down with. But I'm grateful for the point.
I want to say this, B. The demand, the pressure that the fan base is applying on the team and on the coaching staff, I love it. I love it. You know, I think it's something that's definitely needed, especially in a league like MLS where there's a lot of parity. There's no pro rel, so there's no pressure. There's a lot of complacency from coaches to players, right? Wherever you want to look at it or whatnot. But one thing that I want to say about the chances last night especially is that Stuver had a game. And you mentioned how the mistakes are the ones that Charlotte FC capitalized on that. That's probably why some of these players from Charlotte FC are frustrated and they're fuming, because they were only able to capitalize on the mistakes from Austin FC. Credit to, Stuver, and credit to the backline for trying to hold strong. But imagine if they were on the right foot tonight and they would have capitalized on the chances that they created. Because as we're watching these highlights before the game, we see that Stuver had 2, 3, 4 saves. Karol Swiderski, I mean, this guy looked like he wanted to score for the fan base. I mean, not only does he take a great penalty, but he missed a point-blank header. He was opening up spaces for himself and arriving in situations that are are good or perfect for a forward to get the ball into the back of the net. And I want to talk about Carroll just a little bit because we know that he's coming back. We know that he's probably trying to win over this fan base because, maybe some people feel a certain type of way about him, but he wants to win them back with this goal and with the kind of energy you saw from Carroll. I mean, what do you think the fan base from Charlotte is going to be thinking about after he, gets on the score sheet for them?
Yeah. Well, like you guys know, the comment sections on our accounts are pretty telling on how the fan base feels, and everybody felt positive about Karol Swiderski, right? Obviously, he missed a couple opportunities, but you saw that fight and that bite that he's ready to win back, whoever may not be on his side. And when we heard that he was coming back officially, right, I would say there was probably like a 70-30 divide where people were understanding he wants to play in a top 5 league, right? We get it. Some people were like, you know what, he left us. He didn't want to be here. But, I mean, he's back, and we saw the quality player that he can be for Charlotte FC. I mean, he should have finished the shot that he had that hit the post, but that was a great read. Reading your
mistake by Hector.
Yeah, reading that your Hector's mistake, right? But that's the type of striker that we need. Now we just need to make sure that we're capitalizing on our opportunities. That's the one thing that we've seen throughout this season from Charlotte. We're sometimes not maximizing these opportunities that we get. Like what you just said recently about, the goals came from Charlotte. The 2 goals that we scored came from Austin mistakes. I felt the same way about Austin and Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
Right? I mean, it came from the first goal was, I think, a bad clearance by Kalina, right?
Yep.
And then Privet loses his man, and the same thing happened in that second goal. But other than that, there's really no other clear opportunities that I can think of from Austin last night.
Now, let's actually get into a little bit of the match highlights, what the game was last night. As we're talking about these goals, we mentioned the mistake by Hector and Karol Swiderski. But let's start off with the goal that Austin FC did manage to score first last night. Now, we see Guilherme Biru, and this is a guy that I've been very critical of, y'all. And B, you know this, right? And the fans, the people that listen to Spaces, I feel like they're starting to see what I've been saying all this time. I've been very critical of him on his defense. He's great going forward, but I want to give Guilherme Biru his credit here for absolutely dogging this play, winning the ball. You could say it's a poor clearance, but he wins the ball, and we could play the clip.
Yeah, but
here.
even slightly before that, I think Kalina was on pressure.
Yeah, he was. You're right. He was. We can go back a little bit. We see there.
Yeah.
We see there. Poor clearance, maybe Kalina under pressure. Guilherme Biru does well to not give up on the play. The play continues. You see Jader O'Brien try to find something. Doesn't find anything. Danny Pereira, peach of a ball. You mentioned Privet loses his man.
Yep.
At the back post is Alex Ring. He makes no mistake. Puts it into the back of the net. And as soon as this goes into the back of the net, the first thing that comes into my mind is this is a goalkeeper that has had, I think he still has the record for the most clean sheets in MLS. So not everybody,
8 or 9.
not everybody gets to score on this guy Kalina. I believe he was in the run for MLS goalkeeper.
He was.
I think him and Stuver maybe got snubbed, right? I think the guy that ended up
100%.
going was Pius from Dallas.
Yeah.
Who is he, right? Who is that guy? But anyways, after the ball goes into the back of the net, and this is from an Austin perspective, this little walk, this little stare at the stands from Alex Ring means so much. Because everything going on with this guy this past week has been a roller coaster of emotions. Against Dallas, he comes out in the mix zone and says that he doesn't want to give a comment to the media because the media, quote unquote, screwed him over. The game before that against Seattle at home, he says that there was a quote of his that was taken out of context and blown out of proportion. This celebration is saying what? I'm here. What's all this commotion outside?
Not only that, he's captain, which everybody from an Austin perspective wants him to be the captain.
Yeah.
It
feels like people fell out with Drusy. They see that he's better as a player, not really. And it's no knock against him. Some players just aren't captains, bro. Some players do better if you leave them on their own and let them handle whatever they have to do on the pitch.
Swiderski for us is the same thing.
And Alex Ring,
screams captain.
Alex Ring, mate, I was watching him, with a very close eye last night in this game, and he was doing everything that I want a captain to do, giving directions, talking to Valencia, making Osman Bukhari feel like he's comfortable and asking for balls in certain areas. That's what a captain is supposed to do.
He's telling you.
He's telling them what to do, bro. And go ahead, B.
Which is not. We don't really see that sort of attitude from Drusy that much. We don't really see him trying to take the reins and be like, no, we're doing it like this. Yeah. And no knock on him, like H said. I mean, Juicy's a fantastic player.
Now, we talk about Alex Ring. We're giving him his praise, right? But we move forward a little bit, and we get into Charlotte FC's goal. He is the one that concedes the penalty. And there's frustration from the fan base because this is at least the third or fourth penalty that Alex Ring gives up this season in the exact same way. The same foul, the same kind of action, the same area of the box as well, guys, right on the edge. And, as we're getting into it, I just want to get your thoughts on the foul. I mean, do you think that it was rightfully given? Some folks are saying it was a soft pen. I'll get your thoughts, George. I mean, after that, Karol Swiderski knocks it in, but we'll talk about his finish right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a penalty. Like, however you want, it's a stupid mistake by Alex Ring. You just got to be honest. Like, why would you come into a player like that?
Oh, yep.
Right? So, in my opinion, Yuri Tavares does he sell it a little bit? Sure. Right? But at the end of the day, it's a penalty.
No, I don't even think Tavares thinks Alex Ring is coming in hot like that. I don't think Tavares ever looks back at him. He feels Brendan Heinzlike's pressure, and then Alex Ring comes in out of nowhere, which I don't understand because the player's back is to the goal. He's going away from the goal. There's a guy already there, Brendan Heinzlike. He's locking him down. A little bit irresponsible from the captain, Alex Ring, but overall, I think he had a good night. But, Emmanuel, I want your thoughts on this finish from Karol Swiderski. George was telling us how this is prime Ronaldo, even though he's a Barca fan.
And a Messi fan.
And then
prime Ronaldo penalty finish.
And then,
I love that, though. I love that, dude. Just because you're a Messi fan doesn't mean you have to shit on Ronaldo.
Brian,
just because you're a Ronaldo fan
I
doesn't
agree.
Brian
This
can
is
go
just
for
not
hours.
the
Okay,
regular take from Jorge.
Oh, okay.
You see?
Yeah, he's right about that.
Okay.
But no, this is Swiderski. I mean, I've never doubted Swiderski on the penalty spot. He's just clinical. He's always clean. I mean, he's just a classical striker. He's not too, like, I don't know.
what's up with the celebration, though?
He's been doing it since last season.
So there's no malicious to the fans.
There's no
Nothing-
malicious to the fan. If you
nothing
go
bad.
back, all his Charlotte FC goals, it's that same celebration.
Okay, because Austin FC fans are just coming off of a very emotional game with Dallas, Peter Musa, and Nkosi Tafari. They did the same thing. It's because Musa,
That gets to
But
us, man.
but
It gets
yeah,
to us, bro.
but to be fair, I mean,
game is game.
game is game,
Game is
right?
game.
The fan base, I gotta say, you guys were giving it to the Charlotte players, which is fair, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're gonna give it, expect to take it when it comes.
That's what I say. If we're a fan base that is loud, that is chanting. So whenever we get scored on, I mean, if I'm a player and your fans are going at it and I score, I mean,
We also
Listen,
have a chant.
the beauty of it is like there's some players that grow in moments like that, and there's some players that get intimidated.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, Yera Uronen, our left back, they were giving him hell, and he just smiled and looked over
He
and
was
like
laughing.
he was like, "This doesn't faze me. This motivates me."
Damn,
hell yeah.
That's good. That's good. You need thick skin in this game, bro.
100%.
Shout out to them. Now, we're on the topic of, Karol Swiderski. He just scored his pen or whatnot, and it seems like he could have had a brace, right, just a little bit later.
Hat-trick.
Could have had a
Hat-trick,
hat-trick.
yeah.
Right now, we're on the possible brace that he was on. Now, Hector Jimenez, MLS veteran, 3-time champ, all respect to this guy, but I think he let himself down, and he let his supporters down here in this because as a right back, if you're going to play back to your keeper, pick your head up. See who's back there.
100%, bro.
Pick your head up, see who's back there, right?
Especially as a veteran.
I'm surprised he started, if I'm being honest, bro.
Rotation. Rotation.
With Desler coming in, I think this may have been his only chance to maybe get some more minutes in.
Hear
And
me out.
Maybe he was given that.
Hear me out. Hector Jimenez, at this point in his career, he's a 50, 60-minute player. You have a guy that's waiting to make his debut, you sub him in for Hector Jimenez. To me, that was the plan.
And
that was the plan.
respects to Wolf to give this veteran that shot, but I mean he cost us a goal, bro.
No.
Does he
It could have been two.
Are we giving veterans minutes or are we trying to
Yeah.
win the game?
But also, if you watch
point.
Swiderski too, right? I mean, that's a smart striker anticipating the mistake. Unfortunately, I think his touch is a little too heavy there.
He gets right underneath
Yeah,
it too.
he
He
gets-
just he kind of scoops the ball. He kind of scoops the ball
Yeah.
up there. But I mean, Emmanuel, your thoughts on this shark? I mean, Karol Swiderski here is just blood in the water. He
Should've
knows
finished that.
he knows that this defense is going to be a little bit leaky. I mean, what were you thinking when you saw the ball didn't go into the back of the net?
Man, I don't know what to think, to be honest. I mean, it's a hard angle. It's a difficult angle. He's going fast. He's trying to beat the defense, make sure he gets to the ball before the players arrive to the line. So I mean, going at full speed, almost full speed. I mean, I can see why he missed that. You know,
Yeah, and it looks like he's falling a little bit
Yeah.
there at the end as well.
so,
That
I
first
mean,
touch,
he
man.
did what he could.
Yeah.
It's the first touch that kills.
Would have been a hell of a welcoming back party for Karol
100%.
Swiderski.
Yeah, for
would have
sure.
been insane for
Especially
this guy.
to the fans that don't want him here anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. There now. Of course, Charlotte FC, they do go up after, the Karol Swiderski penalty and then the Karol Swiderski miss. Tavares, he gets the goal, and we're still on topic with Hector Jimenez because in this situation, it is Hector Jimenez who kind of loses track of his man. This is the instance right here. You see the cross come in. Maybe somebody should be on Westwood. Got the wrong highlight here. Maybe somebody should be on Westwood putting those balls in.
That's one of the things that I think you guys, underestimated, that the ability for Westwood to put in a ball like no other, man. I mean, he gave a great ball to Karol Swiderski, and then in the goal for Yuri Tavares, another great ball. We love to call that the Westwood pass, know. And so he's known, trademarked in Charlotte now for that. I mean, he had a hat trick of assists against Cincinnati, and it's that play like. He anticipates where you'll be, and he's going to put the ball perfectly for you.
We see Westwood here on the ball, Charlotte FC's captain. This is the goal situation here. We just saw Karol Swiderski's point-blank miss, and that kind of goes with the narrative of Stuber had a great game. Karol Swiderski could have had a hat trick at that point, right then and there. But this is the highlight for Tavares' goal. Ashley Westwood, of course, on the ball, leader of assists for his team. Now, one thing that I want to point out before we talk about the goal is the mismatch that Hector Jimenez had to deal with for the entire game that he was on the pitch. Not only does he have to deal with Tavares, this gentleman here was absolutely torching Hector Jimenez as well. And I want to send a shout out to Kevin Morris for a tweet that he put out. It was a guy looking up at like some redwood forest trees, and it was like Hector Jimenez looking at Charlotte FC's left side.
Not only that,
mismatch.
And then when Swiderski came out, 6'5" Patrick Ajiman comes in.
Bro, that's what I'm saying is, why did we start like?
Somebody made the call, right? Yeah, I see what you're saying, B. I see what you're saying.
If everybody wants to pick on Wolf for a decision, you know how Wolf is a hot topic for our fans. This is a decision that needs to be inspected because I think the only reason why he started was because maybe. What I'm hearing, maybe what I feel is that maybe he feels like he wants more minutes, so he's finally given that opportunity.
He could be pushing for minutes. He could be asking the coach, "Hey, I'm putting in the work in the training ground. Let me get my shot, coach."
I think that if this might sound harsh and might be just to the point, there's so many topping points that we can talk about the game, missed chances, mistakes, but I think Jimenez starting costs us the game, bro.
Oof.
And that might come off as harsh, but look, and nothing but love and respect to the veteran, like you said, 3-time MLS champ. But you got Desler, a new signing, Biru, Gallagher. I don't think he should have started this game, brother.
Oh, that's not an off take, not a bad take. And I know a lot of Austin FC players were complaining about this. They were trying to get it called back. I don't know if it was about the throw in or maybe the foul, a possible foul on Hector. I don't see it. I just see a player, Hector Jimenez, stumbling back, losing his man, and Tavares as well to put the ball into the back of the net. And Stuver saving the hardest ones, maybe not saving the easy ones. That probably wasn't easy for him to take care of. But, Charlotte FC kept knocking on the door. And as we're kind of, approaching the final end of these highlights, mate, that we're watching before we get into Austin FC's goal, I mean, at this point, what is Charlotte FC thinking, bro? I mean, frustration.
For us, we're like, we need to put this game away. And we see the opportunities that we're missing. And this is one of the things that I've seen Dean get really, really frustrated with this team about, where, we have opportunities to kill some games off and we don't. And more often than not this season, we've been able to get those 3 points. But it's moments like this where, like, you see the Austin tie the game 2-2, and we're like, man, this could have been 3-1 or 4-1 by now.
Last year, a big storyline with Charlotte was the fact that you guys would go up and not able to maintain the 3 points. Yeah,
over 25 points were given up from leading positions last year. That's tough. To be fair to Dean Smith, he fixed most of that. So last year was more of having a leaky defense. This year is more of us not being able to finish our chances.
Mate, Dean Smith, proper coach.
Bro, listen, that man.
Dino.
Yes. Dino at the wheel. Everybody, even we posted a picture at when Swiderski was subbed off, he went and hugged Dean Smith. Which, if you know Karol Swiderski, what's going on right here?
Really?
That lets you know that when we had Miguel Angel Ramirez, it was kind of hell for him. When we had Christian Latanzio, it was kind of hell for him. So having a coach like that, I think also breeds an extra confidence in all of our players. And that's why, in my opinion, I didn't see, if I'm being 100% honest with you guys, I saw us at the beginning of the season fighting for 9th. Now I'm looking at Red Bulls and I'm like, we can finish in the top 4. They're just 4 points ahead of us.
Dude, Austin fans are hearing you talk about your gaffer like that are freaking punching the air right now.
They want somebody new.
Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah,
talk about Wolf.
yeah, like even that, like what you guys saying. I was like, this same squad, this guy's able to get more, and virtually he's had
My God.
Dean Smith. If you compare Miguel Angel Ramirez's squad, Christian Latanzio's, and Dean Smith, he's probably inherited the worst squad out of all 3 of them, and he's doing more with it.
Bro, you bring up such a beautiful point. I want to talk about it just for a little bit. A lot of Austin FC fans go back and forth on this, and they say there's no. I've heard this take. They say that there's no other coach that can do better than what Josh Wolf has in Austin FC right now.
I'm sorry. Seeing what Dean has done with us, that to me is a hot take because I would have thought that before. Because to be fair with you, Latanzio had moments. We were playing okay. Some games were bad. Some games were good.
I remember
And they made that decision, which I felt like was kind of a 60-40 where should we keep it, should we not? And they said, you know what, let's gamble, let's get him out of here, and it's proven to be the difference this season.
So, I mean, Austin FC fans that are listening to this pod, I mean, if you know somebody that has given you that take, like nobody can improve this squad with what they have, I mean, listen to what the Charlotte fans are telling us. A guy like Dean Smith, but, I mean, we also got to talk about Dean Smith's resume. I mean, this is a guy that has been around top football since he was a little lad.
100%.
And then Wolf only knows Austin. He's only been coaching for the years he's been here.
But he's also been a pro player before, and he's been involved with the U.S. Western national team, so the excuses run out.
Yeah, but here's also what you have to look at as well. You know, with when we had Miguel Angel Ramirez and we had Latanzio, they were very new to coaching. Versus when you bring somebody with experience, like before Dean Smith came to Charlotte, he was trying to save Leicester from relegation. So his first match was Man City away. Right, so the pressure is instant there. Coming to MLS to him is slight work, you know. So it's more like, okay, like like I'm not dealing with the intensity of the English media, and I have time to build this squad. Oh, I only have at that time, I really only have one DP because we're getting rid of our other 2s, and the one we have is crazy. No problem, we'll make it work. And he did.
Damn, dude. I mean, with everything you guys have to deal with Copetti and all that stuff, I
Exactly.
mean. It sounds somewhat similar to what we dealt with Rigoni, and
yeah.
but
I mean, the one thing that we do have is a legit sporting director. I mean, the whole start to our run as Austin was Anthony Precourt, the owner, hiring essentially his buddy in a way. That was how it was labeled.
he hired Josh Wolf before Claudio Reina,
Yeah.
so we had a coach before a sporting director.
That's crazy.
But then you, not only that, Wolf, Reina, Precourt, it's all U.S. men's national team like bubble. It's like, so
And you see how they're doing right now.
so what we got going forward is maybe that after Wolf's time runs out, which depending on how this season ends, this might be his last season.
He has 2025 on his contract.
Exactly, but depending on how the season ends, if we crash out, I mean, I don't see how Rodolfo won't pull the trigger.
I think I asked you this last night, but I'll ask you as well. Like, if he doesn't make playoffs, do you see him finishing his contract, Josh Wolf?
That's a great question because I don't think I'm going to say I don't think so, bro. I don't think so.
Okay, you heard it here first.
From a guy that
And you're Wolf in.
from a guy that has been.
You're Wolf in?
No, look, listen,
hold on.
listen.
Yo.
My
Listen.
fault.
Whoa,
My
hold on.
fault.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, bro.
Hey, clip that.
Putting words in my mouth like you did Drusy.
Hey,
brother.
chill.
Come on, bro.
He's
Look,
gonna
let me
get jumped.
explain myself. Let me defend myself.
Go
real
ahead,
quick.
bro. I'm sorry.
Not Wolf in. I was trying to look at the positives of Wolf. Trying to see if we can.
Light team, light roster,
Light
low
team,
numbers.
light roster. Rigoni, an absolute scam artist. I mean, just all this stuff. Trying to find reasoning to continue. And with how things are going, with the airplane flying a banner, I mean, things are getting serious. And I think that if we crash out and we just an embarrassing 10th, 11th place, I think he's gone, bro.
I want to add to your point, B. The coaching staff, the front office has been saying that playoffs is the goal. Playoffs is the expectation for the end of the season. So, I mean, if we're in a business world, if we're talking about contracts and a lot of money and whatnot, if you miss out on your goals, on your expectations, I mean, what is your bosses going to say to you? Like, hey, you missed playoffs again? The goal was that you were going to make playoffs. What's up? And it's extended.
Not only that, you miss playoffs where like more than half the teams make it. Like this was something I criticized Charlotte last year. You just have to be mid to make playoffs.
Yeah.
Like
And after that, the playoffs can be something else.
Yeah,
It's a whole other
exactly.
story.
You don't have to be great to make playoffs. And
but-
so if you can't do that,
Yeah.
then that means that you've done a terrible job coaching.
Just
Go
real
ahead,
quick,
go
just
ahead.
real quick. I want to send a shout out to Seattle because they're a team that can start a season so bad and kick it up in the summer.
Orlando's the same way.
And they make the playoffs, and then they could go on the run in the playoffs. We've
Yeah.
seen them make the finals. Portland is a team that does the same stuff kind of in the past. So you're right. You're spot on. You don't have to be elite the whole season to make playoffs. I mean, if you are elite the whole season, you make playoffs, but that's not the case all the time. You can be mid and then kick it up at the end.
But also, the point that I was going to bring up is, sure, the Seattles, the Orlandos, they could, something changes in them that they can, okay, let's scrap the season, let's start from now. But if we're stumbling and like last year, had we scraped and got that 9th spot, we would have gone kicked out in the first round. You know, so coming into the playoffs is very important as well. But you don't have a established like aura, you would say, of Seattle, where like, you know, we're Seattle. You know. But we can't say we're Austin.
Here's my question though. Like, you know, this is what Austin's 4th season, right?
Yeah.
With Josh Wolf, right?
Yeah.
You should be able to see some sort of improvement year to year if you've had consistency in a coach. You know, after the first 2 years, like when Latanzio first came in as a full head coach for us, I was like, I'm gonna give him 25 games to try to understand what I'm not gonna judge 5, not 10, not 15, but 25 is a good parameter of what he can do, what he can bring as a coach to get out of this team. 4 years is a long time.
But this is okay. Let me counter that, and people are gonna be like, "This is why people say I'm Wolfin," because we started our inaugural season basically with no number 9. Our best player, essentially, Cecilio Dominguez, was playing that makeshift number 9 the whole season, which left a gap in the wings for us. So we had a makeshift number 9 with essentially no wings. Like
Kutamane.
I mean, we had USL level players playing up there. Redes was an insane flop, right? Scratch that first season. Second season, Juicy came in. I mean, insane. Juicy MVP performance. Conference finals, defeat to LAFC. Next season, we bring in the scam artist Rigoni, which hit a lick on us for however millions, didn't do a damn thing. Like, literally, didn't do a damn thing. Forced to play him because of his price tag. So now we're forced to play Rigoni when essentially we could have put in a USL player for him. Kekuta would have done better more than Rigoni. So, and then not only that, we start the season off with a scandal with Reina and Berhalter. Our sporting director now is gone. You had Sean Rubio stepping in as a interim. Horrendous deals with giving $1 million to Zardes, giving $1 million to Diego Fagundes, giving almost $1 million to Julio Cascante, bringing in some players like Tarek, which was another scam artist. I mean, then you're dealing with that. And then not only that, okay, Rodo comes in and depletes the squad, gets rid of Deadwood.
9 to 10
now
guys.
Wolf has to play with a depleted squad.
They've
Finally,
said it.
Finally, we got Dessler, Bukari, we got the Ukrainian center back. His name Svatok. Now we're finally reformers are coming in. So you throw all that on top of an unexperienced coach. I'm not surprised that we're seeing.
I'm gonna counter you with
give a recap of the past 4 years.
I mean, Dean Smith had to deal with similar situations. Kamil Yazviak, terrible DP for us, didn't produce to that level. They got rid of him. Karol Swiderski wanted out during that time.
Yeah.
They let him go the last day of the transfer deadline for Europe without having a proper replacement.
You went to Hellas?
Hellas Verona. We had Enzo Copetti, who played, 15 games for us this season and had as many goals as Karol Swiderski has right now for us. RDP9, 1 goal.
Madre mia!
Outside of us getting our young DP Liel Abada in, 4 or 5 games into the season, on top of us,
Copetti had 1 goal.
and the mentality of Dean Smith was next man up, right? Our first match, a 16-year-old Nymphasia came in as a winger.
I remember that.
Right? So, I mean, I love Nymphasia, and he's a great future player, but he's just not ready now.
Let me counter that. Let me counter that.
Bro.
Did your sporting director, did the owner of Charlotte hire his buddy?
No.
There's some
This is a tough cookie right here.
Because
Look, and then people are gonna be like, that's why people are like, oh, you're Wolf in. Like, bro,
I'm just saying, to me,
I'm putting out this.
This season for me was never about. I was like, whatever Dean Smith does, I was like, I can't blame him because he's not starting off with the best hands, and even with all the things that he's had to deal with. I mean, we got rid of Copetti in May when the window wasn't even open yet. We were just counting on Patrick Agiman as our one striker.
Did you guys buy him out, or was it a mutual agreement?
No, he was sold to
okay. Oh, you already was. He's in South America.
Yeah, to I can't think of the team in Argentina right now.
Yeah,
It's slipping my mind. But
Um,
yeah, Rosario Central. He was
Okay.
sold to Rosario Central. So they chose to just have one quote unquote natural striker in a third round draft pick of Patrick Agiman versus having Enzo Copetti in this squad. Right, so that kind of lets you know where the mentality was. Where they're like, just get rid of this guy at this point.
I'll say this. I'll say this. Like, I haven't said this. I'll say this. Like, to the Austin fans that listen, to the people that.
Sorry,
that
not a
go with-
third rounder. I'm thinking of Privet.
I'll say this. If Wolf does not make, if we don't make playoffs, I'm Wolf out. Fuck it. How much do I pitch in for that second plane? I'm then, because I'm setting that bar. I'm finally setting that bar because I've been.
You're
vague.
Wolf out now.
If we don't make playoffs,
Dang, he
If
gonna
we
need
don't make
security to
I'll-
protect himself from both sides.
I'm giving you guys just perspective on what we saw with a guy that came in with a limited squad with a whole bunch of issues that now we don't hear as much because the culture of winning changes everything.
Oh, that's
If
facts.
you are
Yeah.
winning, if your team is winning, then the expectations are different.
Yep.
The narrative changes, right? Because I said it, I went, and I've talked about this on our shows, you know, I was like, I didn't think this squad could compete where they're at now. And I was like, wow, it took a better coach to be able to get the best out of our players.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, and
Who would've
let me
thought?
let me add this. We also struggle to attract talent the way you guys attract talent.
Okay.
Like, I don't know what it is about Charlotte, but people just do not want to come because they look at the city and they're like, okay, so there's like lakes.
And we think about that for LA.
we think about that with LA, New York,
Miami now.
Yeah.
Look at Marco Royce. He said no to Charlotte.
Yeah,
right?
that's
You
true.
know?
You guys had the discovery rights.
We
on
had
him,
the
no?
discovery rights. They tried and
Which is a
tried,
weird
couldn't
rule
get
to
this.
me.
It's a weird.
Albert
It's the
Groenbach,
finder's fee.
who
Dibs.
was a baller, you know, didn't want to come here. Luciano Rodriguez, right? I mean, I think Citigroup is about to buy him, right? We tried hard for him. He didn't come here.
And you guys been throwing the bag around.
We have,
You guys been
and
throwing the
nobody's,
bag.
and they haven't been able to close any of those deals.
Your guys' ownership has thrown millions around.
And that's a
Yeah.
great point you bring up. And I want to question this is like, and this probably may be a straightforward answer. I don't know how y'all feel, but like compared to Charlotte and Austin has the more attractiveness to it, doesn't it? Or am I
We were kinda talking
biased
about
in
that
thought?
on-
Am I biased
on
in
the
that?
way
I
over
feel like
here.
I don't know.
little
I
bit.
don't know. To be honest with you, I think
Like, if
there's
you
just
would-
I think there's just a couple of teams that have that attractiveness that's very different, and that's your LA markets, the New York markets, and Miami market.
100%.
Out of everything else, I feel like it's just a slight preference because St. Louis wanted Marco as well, and he wasn't going there either, right? And so he wants a city like LA. So to me, it's more of your LA markets, New York's, and Miami's. Then everybody is kind of in a similar tier where people don't really know. They're like, okay, I've heard of Austin, but they haven't heard of it the way they've heard of LA.
Yeah, Miko
Fair
Dessler
point,
said
fair
something
point.
like that too. He's like, I just heard of Austin recently, but we went a little bit off game, but it was coming.
We went from Wolf out to Wolf in to Wolf out.
it was conversations that needed to be had. I will say that. And Austin FC fans, just to sum it up real quick, TopBin90, Charlotte FC, they're kind of just saying suck it up. Everybody has those problems, and they're saying, hey, a new coach could change this.
Listen, in the 3 years that we've covered this team, there's been a player that has died. We've had sexual
That's true,
allegation
bro.
cases. We've had two crazy coaches that like we could do 4-hour episodes about. But so I mean, like every market has very interesting things that happen.
at the end of the day, you're fighting for fourth, and we're fighting for ninth.
yeah,
Anton Walks, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Damn, rest in peace, bro. I remember that boating accident.
yeah. So that in that same season, we
Right
had
before this
two
season
players
started.
linked, allegedly, so we don't get sued, right? With sexual
Allegedly.
allegations.
Yeah.
So they got rid of those players within the same season.
Wow. I mean, we had Cecilio, but that was domestic violence.
That's yeah, and it was
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, Charlotte. We
don't wanna open
definitely
that
hear
box
y'all.
again,
We hear
brother.
y'all. Charlotte, we hear y'all. But
I guess we are twin flames.
we are I guess
Bro,
so,
that's the
too.
title,
That's
bro.
the title.
That's the
Twin
title.
flame.
Twin
No,
flame,
just
bro.
one last thing because I don't want to go over John Gallagher's goal because it was important for us. Now he does get pushed up. Josh Wolf makes a good move and taking Owen away from the wing, pushing him down to the middle, and pushing Gallagher up to the wing while John Komenich takes over that left back spot. Alex Ring, instrumental in this play. He kind of creates the space, finds Diego Rubio. Diego Rubio finds John Gallagher. Now there was some conversation from the boys from TopBin90 saying that the defense was soft on this. All they had to do was just put their body in front. Gallagher, scrappy player, Irish player. He knows what it's like to play for Aberdeen in places like, abroad across the Atlantic Ocean. And we see his fight that he has as a striker. And a lot of people are saying, push up Gallagher. Why can you push up Gallagher? And there's folks in this fan base that have said that he has no attacking qualities. And it just confuses me
There's
because
some
I think
people
he does.
There's some people that said oh, you're ridiculous to think that he can go forward. Like,
Yeah.
so
We see it here.
we see it.
here.
He's played forward for us. He's essentially a makeshift left back.
He was an all-star left back too.
Yeah,
But
true.
of course, when this goes into the back of the net, the stadium goes green. Everybody is happy, but you can see the face on Kalina. I mean, I'm sure from a Charlotte point of view, you guys are pissed.
Yeah, we are because we should have put that game away.
Yeah, I bet Dean gave a good talk at the
He
end of the
was
game.
mad. He was very mad.
Come on, lads. Something like that. But Austin FC gets the point from Charlotte. From the jaws of the lion, I guess you could say, from the Queen City.
There was a stat I had that I don't like kill me if it's not exact, right? But, I think we probably went like almost 25 games without conceding within the first 30 minutes. And we did in the first 10 minutes of this match. So, I mean, from a standpoint also of, you're talking about this second goal. For us, like some of these mistakes that we've seen aren't common mistakes that have happened to us this season. So that's credit to Austin for exploiting this game.
Well, that's a compliment for Austin right there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, just real quick, just to touch up on some post-match comments that were said. The new players, we talked about them, Osman Bocari and Mikel Dessler. There was a lot of talk coming from the fan base saying, hey, why not play these guys more than what you gave them? Why not play Bocari for 70, for 80? And then Coach Wolf, he comes out post-match press conference and he says, you have to remember these guys haven't played probably since May 20th, May 25th. They've been on break for a while. Mikel Dessler got married before he got to Austin, right? He went on a honeymoon. For sure he got a Henny in the system, allegedly. I don't know.
He got Henny, some pasta going
some
on.
pasta, the
Just
guy
with salt.
he's coming off of his honeymoon. Of course he's not going to be at the level that John Gallagher is going to be at.
And
so
this is
it's game day one.
This is standard procedure.
It's standard
brother.
procedure.
You don't throw in a cold player and just.
However,
throw him in.
I will say this: Austin's situation could have granted just throwing Bocari. But we did throw him in there.
Yeah,
Bocari
we
started
him.
Bocari started. Everybody was thinking he was going to be a sub. But to me, the fact that Bocari started against Charlotte last night, it tells me that not only is the ownership telling the coaching staff, like, hey, you got to play this guy. We brought him for a reason. You got to
Also-
play this guy.
Also, Drewsy's out with a
Drewsy is
with a
out as
red,
well.
and then we're finally getting reinforcements. We've been holding down the fort as much as we can. We need those reinforcements. So
Now, I just want to ask you if I could get your take real quick, B. I mean, the boys from Charlotte, they were saying, that they wanted to take the 3 points because Drewsy was not here. They thought that there was an even bigger lifeline. I mean, without Drewsy, how did Austin play? Just super quick.
I think we had a game against Charlotte. I think we look good without Drewsy.
No
to be
Drewsy, no
honest.
problem.
No Drewsy, no problem in this game.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that in the long. I wouldn't say, hey,
Yeah,
let's go on a
facts,
run. There's
facts,
absolutely no way that we could ever do it.
And now I was trying to get a hot take from you.
I'm setting them up. I'm setting them up.
Clip that.
There was, real quick on the fans. I mean, look, we do fan reacts after the game. It's right after. Its emotions run high. A lot of people were saying, oh, we expected more from Bocari, more from Dessler. They should have started. We play way better with Drewsy. Let's calm down. Let's calm down here. These guys are new. They're gonna be integrated in. Drewsy is that guy for us, and he's gonna be that guy for us, regardless if we played well against Charlotte. As soon as he's available, he's gonna start.
I want to say this, mate. Somebody from Sebastian Drewsy's family went on social media, and once you post it on social media, it's free game, right? They went on social media and they share the same last name. I think it's his brother or his cousin, and his name's Brian.
Brian Drewsy.
His name's Brian Drewsy. His name's Brian Drewsy. But he posted a tweet.
That's my burner account.
He's definitely getting jumped.
They quote tweeted Vanilla Mexican. Vanilla Mexican had the milk carton with Drewsy's picture and it said missing.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, people that don't have memory disgust me.
Yeah.
He's saying, you guys already forgot what Drewsy did for you guys. Almost. He said, I don't agree with this. He said that Drewsy single-handedly almost won the championship for Austin in 2022. I don't think it was single-handedly. Fagundes was instrumental. He had 15 assists to Drewsy's 22 goals.
I kind of.
Do you agree with Brian?
I think he kind of single-handedly took
Is
us,
Brian
bro.
with an I, though? You're Brian with a Y.
With a Y, the way it's
Yeah.
supposed to
The
be.
way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I'm never going to forget that season for us. What he did for us. I see that second season in Austin FC, the Drewsy, that player that he was, it's in there. Just because he's not doing it now, you've gotten proof that it's in there, that he can provide for us, he can score for us, he can do all things for us. And, coming after Drewsy, saying that he's missing on a card.
He's been 8 games without a goal contribution.
Eight,
That-
baby.
that
8,
is
9
true.
games,
That is true,
almost
but
10. But
I don't know. I love Drewsy, bro. I think he's that guy.
Drewsy's
Yeah, that's
that
why
guy.
I have my burner account, So.
Hey, calma. Now, I just want to get some post-match, just maybe thoughts from the top Ben90 guys to Charlotte. I know earlier in the episode you mentioned how the boys were, very frustrated and whatnot. I mean, anything you want to add on the post-match section?
Nah, I mean, to be honest, yeah, like, to me, it's that level of competitiveness, right? Obviously, like, there's going to be games that you believe you should have won that you didn't. I mean, even like us earlier this season in Chicago, we won, and I didn't think we deserved to win that game, right? So it happens, right? I like that mentality that I see from these players where they're upset, and they're coming off of 3 like away matches now, right? That's Cincinnati away, Columbus away, now Austin away, and 5 points, right? I think is a decent return for this run for us. So that I really don't have much to complain about, and more praise to this team that I see that like that hunger and fight is there. And we were missing one of our YDPs, who was Israel right now, in the Olympics in Liel Abada. So we were missing.
He was our target at one point.
Yeah, we were missing an important player for us tonight as well, or last night as well.
Yeah, Liel
Yep,
Abada.
yeah.
I forgot about
I mean,
that guy.
look,
He's our target.
it's 3 road games in 8 days against the Shield winners, MLS Cup winners, in Austin. I mean, 5 points. I mean,
Austin
at
home. Austin at home.
Austin home.
The
I mean,
atmosphere
what I
is-
would do
is
for
our
that,
12th
brother,
man.
for Austin.
Yeah, which is why, like, when I
Whatever.
looked at that run, I was like, I'd be happy with 4 points. In my opinion, I was like, we'll probably get a
I
win
agree.
in Austin, maybe a draw in Columbus,
We lose in Cincinnati.
Now Charlotte, they find themselves in 6th place in the Eastern Conference. They're doing their thing on top of Orlando City, just right underneath of New York City FC. George
went
mentioned New
5th
York. Could have said, you're looking at New York and you're saying we can go top
Yeah,
4.
to be honest, if you look at the East, I think Miami, Cincy, and Columbus, even though they're a little behind, they're in a league of their own. They've got quality. I mean, Inter Miami doesn't even have Messi or Suarez, and they've still been cooking, right?
Yeah.
And so Cincinnati, is just overall another great year for them, a great team. Columbus, the same thing,
Miami, bro.
right? And then I think we're right there with the New
Without
York
Messi.
teams.
Without
And
Messi,
Suarez.
bro. No, Suarez is back.
But he did.
Yeah, but he's
It's
been
still a
gone for like
turnaround. That's
5-6 games,
Yeah.
bro.
That's true. That's true. Now for the West, we see Austin drop down to 10th. We're just missing out of playoffs right now, but the coach said last night.
Play in, bro.
Play in. Coach said
Play.
last night that they're going to do everything they can to get back into that picture, and Leagues Cup around the corner.
We
They said
better
that
do
they're-
everything we can, man.
Well, see, this is where like I kind of criticize. To me, it's more on MLS where like, there should, if you're having a bad season, if in MLS you can have a bad season and be right around, making a play-in game, and then you win 3 on the road and you're right back
Yeah,
in a playoff
That's
spot.
very MLS.
So it's very like I feel like that breeds too much complacency in my opinion.
The next games for Austin FC are very important because the gap is getting bigger between the team like Portland, who is in 8th place. I mean, we're 5 away from 8th right now. If you keep letting that gap increase, you're only looking at the 9th spot that you're really shooting for, which is
Yeah.
a problem. It's a problem. But, all right, guys, I think that's all we want to talk about on the game. I had one last question for y'all as we close out, and I just want to say, can you rate the stadium atmosphere compared to the bank and just give the stadium an overall grade?
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys bought anything at the
Hey,
stadium.
Now we're getting jumped.
Nah.
Just give it
Okay,
your overall thought.
Here's what I'm going to say. From any away match that I've been to, and I've been to Atlanta, I've been all over the East Coast pretty much, right? Austin is the best away fan section I've been. I haven't been to LA yet, so I don't know what that's like. But the away game here was amazing. You guys have an incredible fan base, spectacular. From the first minute to the last minute, you can feel it, right? And so I think it was great. Now, compared to Charlotte, I think it's apples and oranges because I feel we have an amazing atmosphere there. The only difference there is that we're in a football stadium versus, a soccer specific. And I think if we had a soccer specific, you could feel it even closer. But what I do love about playing in a football stadium is when we have our home openers and there is 70,000 people in there, and we start doing the Poznan with Pepas, and you see that whole stadium rocking.
It could fall.
Yeah, there's
It could
nothing
fall.
like it, bro, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah. No, I can't imagine 70,000 fans.
Oh,
anywhere.
we just have 20,000.
20,000.
And that's still questionable.
Yeah.
Is it really sold out? There's empty
Technically,
seats.
it's sold
Technically,
out.
it's sold out. It's
Well-
sold out because the seats are sold.
Yeah.
There's a point that Francisco was making that it also looks that way because you guys have that section like divided away from the rest of the sections.
Yeah.
In the Bank of America, it's kind of like hard to like you'll look at the supporters section and then you see the people beside them not doing anything, so it'll look kind of dead
Okay.
because not everybody's kind of like
So,
engaging in
I
the
see what
activity.
you're saying. There's gaps between the sections.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that particular section for you guys is
Oh, okay.
always lit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not the case for Charlotte.
Okay. Okay. That's what you're
yeah.
saying. Well,
But-
I mean,
but
give your thoughts on
My
the
thoughts,
on the stadium.
10 out of 10. I mean, Charlotte's 10 out of 10 because, again, we're different teams. We're allowed different things. There's different things that we're not allowed to do.
That's
we're
a
not
good point,
us, but like
too.
the supporter groups, they're not allowed to do in Charlotte. So,
Like they
I
can't
mean,
have trumpets.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or like, I don't know. There's
Bombos?
just
Y'all gonna
particular
have
things.
bombos? No.
No,
drums?
not really. Oh, yeah, we
We
do
only
have drums.
that, but we only have like a few. Like, you guys have a whole band out there.
Yeah. La
yeah.
Murga
Yeah.
de Austin. It's a
Yeah.
legit band.
I think that
Yeah.
has to do a lot with the fact that Austin FC is the live music capital of the world. I do
yeah.
this
Yeah.
because I don't know if it
no,
is
it
anymore.
is. It is.
I don't know if it is
I
anymore.
think it still is, bro.
Yeah, but I
Think
will
so?
say
Yeah,
this.
there's
Okay.
plenty.
So,
There's always like any bar's got a band. There's-
Nah, we might be the live music capital of DJs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's
bro,
a lot of DJs
nah,
everywhere now.
bro.
Nah, bro.
Oh.
I disagree with that take, bro.
No, there's
Every time
DJs everywhere now.
you go to East, you go to anywhere, any dive bar. There's at least one guy with a guitar, and to me that kind of vibe, I think is still there. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's still there.
Oh,
But even having said all of that, I think, even like from a Charlotte perspective, there's almost 300 Charlotte fans here in Austin this week. And I mean, like, Charlotte to Austin is not an easy, 2-hour trip, right? It's a long way. And we
delayed
brought a lot of
flights.
people here. So that lets you know, just the passion that we feel over there for our team, that we're able to bring that many people here.
we
How
saw
long,
it.
how
We
long
saw
was
it.
the flight?
It's like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's like from here to LA.
But yeah, so I just wanted to finish it up with this. So like, from the games that I've been to away, even the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, they had the roof closed. They had their
Oh.
supporter section, and we could still hear the Charlotte fans, right? But like here, this was the first time we weren't able to like hear 'em. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it was also 300 of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also a smaller stadium.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
see what I
even in Atlanta, we took over. It was almost 2,000 Charlotte fans, and the people that don't sit in the Atlanta supporter section. Someone sent us like something from their like Facebook group chats. You know how those are, right? Where they were like, "Hey guys, you need to do a better job because all we hear is the Charlotte fans here at the Mercedes-Benz."
And that's a rivalry, right?
Yeah, that's
Charlotte,
a rivalry.
Atlanta.
So we went and cooked at the.
That's like us going to Houston.
Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah,
Yeah, bro.
Hey, ghost
as
towns,
far
bro.
as fans, as far as atmosphere, as far as the love for the club, I mean, we slap around Houston and Dallas, bro.
twin flames, bro. Same for us, bro.
We win in the stands. We
Flames,
win in
bro.
the stands. Now, I think. Oh, I wanted to just add one more point. You were asking me about fun facts about the stadium before we go into some other topics here
I
tonight.
built it.
Brick by brick.
It was built in a way that the acoustics
Yeah.
would be a big factor
They will
in
bounce.
atmosphere.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the roof has got like this. It's like a sheet metal that the sound bounces off of it instead of absorbing it. So
Interesting.
it kind of keeps the sound.
It goes
nice
with the
and-
Austin vibe, the music capital of the world and stuff.
I love that, man.
Yeah, and Austin was.
Those are kind of the pluses that like I guess we don't get having to be in a football stadium.
Yeah, you guys have a badass stadium though. The Panther Stadium.
Yeah, it's
Putting
nice.
it. Now, all right, guys. Now we have two things to get into. Of course, we're gonna talk about a bit of our life as creators, right? That's what we want to get into for a little bit, and then we'll talk about a little bit of some Patreon questions that we have at the end. But we'll put that for the Patreon members, May. But starting off with what we want to talk about as life as creators, May. We'll spend a little bit on it. How can we get into it?
Yeah, well, I kind of wanted you guys, at least for our audience as well, to tell a little bit about your story, how, We Are Austin TV came to be,
Okay.
right? Because, I mean, we have some, I think both of us started around the same time, and I've seen the projection of TopBin90, and I've seen the growth of We Are Austin TV, man, and anytime I talk to anybody, I'm like, the only other people that I see that are doing a high-level, quality, great job is you guys, right? I mean, I'll put us to bat. We do a great job too. And then for how you guys cover how you guys cover Austin FC, I don't see any other market like that. I mean, the graphics, the on point on everything. Like, you guys are just the standard bearers for creators.
And we feel the same way going there. It's like,
Yeah,
when we
100%.
look around the board, and every time we play a team like Seattle or whoever team we play with, we like to go and see, okay, what creators are out there for this club. And when it comes to Charlotte, y'all guys, I mean, y'all stand out. I mean, I know there's some fans in Atlanta that may have, I know LAFC has some stuff, but it stands out. So
Now,
game recognized game,
game recognized game, and I feel the same way. I feel like we do a really good job here in Austin, and when I see Top Bin, when they post their stuff, I tell the boys all the time, like, this is a good way to do things. This is a standard of how media should be. I really do feel like you guys bring in a different vibe, a different cultural feeling into this atmosphere, and so, soccer is very hard to cover in this country.
Yeah,
because
it is.
It's not the NCAA blows soccer out the water. Imagine the NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Even like the Panthers, that they're doing bad, and they're like half the stadium's typically the other team. But I think if they have a good season, people show out for them, right? Versus us, like we don't get me wrong, 35,000 is an amazing number, but still, like, we're competing with NFL.
Yeah. And here we're competing with the Longhorns, a college football team.
Yeah.
Bro,
one of the biggest college football teams of all time.
Last year, home opener, 107,000 people.
Crazy.
Bro.
Yeah.
And no shade, 100 degrees. I mean,
like prime sun hour at like 1 p.m.
Sun hour, 107,000 people, and now
loyal,
we're in the
bro.
SEC. So now it's so there you go. I mean, 20,000 seat stadium sold out. 107 over here. So.
Yeah.
DKR is massive on game days.
That's
bro.
That's why we always give props to y'all guys, what y'all doing in Charlotte, to any other creators that are doing it, because of course we do this to cover our home team. We love this club. We love the sport. We enjoy doing what we do, and it's almost like we want to grow the sport in general here. That's a part of it. So we would like to have all other clubs.
Yeah, and that's kind of the reason I wanted to kind of do this as well, because somebody's gonna watch this, and we can kind of give them some of the blueprint of what we've been able to do. Because to me, I don't like gatekeeping anything. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like. Because at the end of the day, the hard work is what really matters. Because, right, people are like, oh, this is so cool. But then we're at the stadium till freaking 12 p.m. Like you guys were doing a space. We're editing videos because we have to post, right? So they don't see those side of things, right? Or they see, oh, you're really cool with Karol Swiderski, or you're really cool with these players, or they like,
It didn't
they
fall
like
out the sky.
Yeah.
It didn't just fall
Yeah,
out the
it's
sky.
not like, oh, we just sat here and it happened,
That's
right?
facts, bro. That's facts. People see that and they assume certain things, but they don't see the
Yeah.
behind it, the work.
Let's go back and start
yeah,
at the beginning though.
I was gonna say, let's kind of structure the the conversation a little bit. You know how we started with Austin TV. I mean, I was telling you guys on the way over here, I've known this guy since 6th grade. You know,
Sixth grade, yeah.
I remember I remember like it was yesterday, bro. I remember my mom dropped me off. I was a little nervous. I was like, dang, this is 6th grade. This is it. Like, you know, I'm no longer a 5th grader. It's time to go to Burn. I told you guys what Burn was like. I gave you a sneak.
Burn was crazy.
And I hadn't gotten my growth spurt yet. In 6th grade, I was like at least 5'3", 5'4". I was a tiny
bad.
kid.
I'm still that height.
Short
I'm
kid.
still that height.
And I was really little, bro. I was tiny. But then I got my growth spurt later on in 8th grade, right? Things changed. But I remember going into Burn It in 6th grade, and I remember I had my schedule, and it said you needed to go to this room, and I was like, all right, I bet. It wasn't that far from where I was already at. Go upstairs. It was Miss Robinson's 6th grade math class.
Shout out Miss Robinson.
Not really. Not
Never
really.
mind.
Not
Take
really.
that back.
Not really. She actually
Miss
fell
Robinson
down the
out.
stairs. She actually fell down the stairs, bro.
And it's crazy
Oh.
how
What?
when she fell, she reached out for help from one of the guys, and the guy said, which was, I'll never forget it, man, you know? Yeah.
I
Like,
didn't laugh. I didn't laugh.
look,
A Lion King moment.
let's put a button on the burn it topic because we could have a whole pod on
Yeah.
our middle school days because our
Nah.
middle school was there could be a documentary on our middle school days.
I said
bro.
it. I said it was somewhat like.
No cap, no cap, bro.
I said it was somewhat like jail.
It was
Bro.
It was like jail, man.
It was somewhat
It was
like jail.
There was race beefs, dude.
That's
It's
what I was
crazy.
telling
Told us
you.
a story.
Yeah,
There was
dude,
race
I
beefs.
was
That's
a
why I
victim of a race beef, brother.
Yeah.
I was a. We could. It's,
I don't know if I can say this, but
Ta-
Yeah.
nah, never mind.
but yeah, that's a different topic. That's a different.
That's where we met.
yeah.
So I walked into the classroom. I literally like the door frame is there. I'm looking at it and I see this kid. He's sitting at the end of the table and he's just there chilling. He had a backpack, string. You remember those string backpacks?
Yeah.
Was it Nike?
Yeah.
Adidas?
It
What
was it was yellow and blue.
America.
America.
Míralo, sí
And
sabe.
I walked in with my string backpack, which was red and white.
Oh,
The
like-
same
Oh,
we
snap.
both got it at the same place, La Pulga, bro.
Yeah, most likely.
It was literally it was next to each other. I got the American one. He probably must have got the cheap.
But at the time, that was fly, bro.
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
At the time, if you had a backpack like that, you were on it.
the
Hey,
smaller the
yeah.
backpack, the cooler you were.
Yeah,
And you had to pull it with a
100%.
monster
the
too.
smaller and the longer it hung down
Yeah.
your back.
And
Yeah.
and if you didn't even have a backpack, you were that guy. You know what I
If
mean?
you didn't even have a backpack and you had a binder,
He don't even bring a pencil. He's
Yeah,
a G.
You were that guy. Everybody's like, damn, he's so cool. He doesn't care.
Man, can I borrow your pencil? Oh, he
So-
a thug.
I see this kid and I see nobody sitting next to him. I go up to him. I don't remember if I told him I was like, "Yo, anybody sitting here?" I just sat next to him.
I think
Whatnot.
it was the only seat left.
Yep. No. But the reason
was
why
fake.
the reason why it attracted me was because I was like, well, this guy's a soccer fan. I guess I'm gonna stay next to him, whatever, right? And then you changed schedules.
So
A couple weeks later.
I got a story on that. So that was AP classes. A couple months in, they're like, nah, this guy needs to go back to regular classes. So I ended up changing. They ended up taking me out of AP and then when I went into my new class, I was like, oh shit, this is.
That's when you met all the other guys.
That's when I.
And you know what's funny, bro? Our middle school, the sixth graders were in the second floor, and it was separated by two hallways. Like it was one half of the hallway and the other half
prison,
of the hallway.
bro.
Segregated.
And it was the other half of the hallway was where B was sent to,
Yeah.
the gulag. And the other half
But
of the hallway
We
was
stayed
AP.
cool as shit though. It didn't matter.
But it's because
Nice.
soccer.
Okay.
Soccer brought us together. Soccer brought us together.
Damn.
And fortunately for me, the class bully, the grade bully, was a Chivas fan. El David.
Yeah.
David
Shout out,
Day,
homie
David.
David.
Thayes, he was a Chivas fan, so that saved me, bro. That saved me because I'm gonna be real. B had more of a like a bit of a gangster flow. Like B was more in
tall
with like
tees,
tall
fitteds, you know.
I was an AP kid. I was a teacher's pet in fifth
Okay.
grade.
He's smart.
That's what I'm saying. After I,
Santo cielos.
So I had to stick with certain people in order to protect myself, right? And so David, the great bully, he kind of like never messed with me because I was a Chivas fan, and that saved my life. But this guy, this dude, he took somebody's new shoes one time and just flushed them down the toilet, bro.
What?
bro, that's nothing, bro. That's you
He
think
said-
that's
he said the
what?
gulag.
Bro, every single day there was a fight card. Main event, sub-main event, and then prelims.
What?
There was a location.
The train
There was a
tracks?
train track.
Bro.
Now,
There
low
was
key,
a
my
train
middle school
tracks
was kind of
literally
like that.
Like a 2-minute walk.
Is-
Everybody walked to school. It was
Was
all right.
like Dana White and Joe Rogan. Is this where they got the
Yes.
idea for
Awesome.
UFC?
It was
They're like,
or-
wait a minute.
Bro,
if they're
it
doing
was-
it in middle schools,
Bro, it was organized, bro. They would be like, all right, prelims, come on. It's going to be this versus this. Go ahead. Boom. We had a dedicated videographer.
No, it's
Yo,
true.
Cisco Arts was there?
But bro, hold on. State of the art video. They had razors. You remember the phone, the
Yeah.
razor?
Yeah.
Hold on,
So
have y'all
they
seen
had-
Never Back Down?
No.
Is that fighting movie? Never mind.
All right,
But
keep
si-
going, keep
similar
going.
to
Razor.
those.
So our homie, his name's nicknamed Cucho, but his name's Ruben. He was that guy. He had all the fights logged. Replays and everything. He would be the guy. So like, hey, Cucho, all right, boom, everything's ready, cameras on.
Popular
Boom,
guy.
let's get it.
Popular guy.
First fight was over, then the co-main, and then the main event at the end. I mean, it was every Friday was a fight card.
And
it
I would
was
hear,
crazy.
bro. I would hear about these dudes just fighting. Like, hey, so and so fought on the way home from
and
school.
I
And I
was
was like,
in,
why?
I was in one fight card once.
Why, bro?
Did you
like,
win?
I didn't.
dang. What's
It
your
was a
record,
no
bro?
contest.
I mean, I was not involved with that world, but I
I was-
still
He
hung
said I
around
was
with
doing
them.
homework.
I still hung around with them. I was
I
very,
gotcha.
I was into soccer. I played soccer outside of school a lot, and in sixth grade we couldn't play, but in seventh grade we could. And I was a backup keeper. I was a terrible backup keeper at the time. I was just trying to make the team, and there was a lot of competition with these guys in seventh and eighth grade.
Our
So
goalkeeper, to be fair, was goalkeeper of the year.
he was also like his first year as a goalkeeper, so it made me look even
Shout
worse.
out,
Dang.
Plastic.
Shout out, Plastic. Him and I almost fought. He
Dang.
probably would
you
have
were
beat
on
my
the
ass.
No,
I stopped
no,
it. I
no,
stopped
no
it.
card main event, or was it like
I
a?
literally stopped it.
He
Yeah.
probably was gonna beat my ass, bro. I'm not gonna lie. He's probably gonna murder me. But you know, soccer came around. B made the team. I was backup goalkeeper. We went to a cup final in eighth grade, right?
Yes.
We
Nice.
went to a cup final in seventh. Sorry, not in the semifinal. They broke into our locker room, stole all of our stuff, all our PSPs, all our necklaces,
Chains,
shoes, and
Yeah.
everything. Inside job too. It was somebody from our school. They
Yeah.
knew.
Inside
They
job.
knew.
Is
It's because they were
crazy.
remodeling our lockers and they had us in portables. So they just you know they just busted in
Texas-
there. They
Texas
took all
is
our
tough.
stuff.
Yeah, dang.
And so you know we lose the cup final. We lose out to Dobie like 8-2, 7-6-2.
Dobie is the only school that we would say are probably a little worse than our school. Like all
Yeah.
the stuff that we're saying about our school, middle school,
Even worse. over
Dobie
there.
was probably a little worse.
yeah,
I mean,
damn.
the guy I was starting left back. I was guarding a guy that had half his neck covered in hickeys.
And we were in eighth grade.
One dude had a full beard. Like what?
Yeah.
Like, you
No,
know what
yeah.
I mean? So and they scored an Olympico on us, which is
And then times went on. The years went by. We got into high school. This guy gave me my first. He was like an older brother to me. He gave me my first. My first protection.
Where's this going?
I gave him a condom.
He gave me
dude.
the first
Yeah,
condoms.
Yeah,
He gave me my first condoms. My mom found them. She was like, "What is
And
this?"
then he just threw me under the bus. He's like, "Oh, it was that guy."
I was like, "Hey, my buddy gave it to me," but I told mom, I was like, "Hey, well, think about it if I get into a fight and I got a gun. Like, I'm gonna be safe. You know, I just want to practice
A
safe."
condom?
Hey.
Yeah. I was like, we were in
Damn.
ninth grade.
Okay.
It was like Simba with Mufasa, but with a condom.
My
right?
mom-
Here you go.
My mom found it and she was like, "My son has a. What are you getting into?" You know what I'm saying? At that point, I'm still like little. You know, I'm still my mom's eyes. I'm still her little kid or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm
Hold on.
hanging out with savages. You know
The
what I'm
Rosa
saying?
de
me-
Guadalupe song came on.
Type
Yeah,
shit, bro.
me- yeah.
Type shit.
I advanced my years. I grew quick. Like, it
Oh
was
yeah,
crazy.
He was hanging out with the kid in middle school that had a car in sixth grade.
Dude, we would drive to school, bro. In
Yeah.
sixth
Is it
grade.
stolen?
Sixth grade.
No.
Okay.
Bro, I had friends in middle school that had full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Bus boys at Texas Roadhouses.
Yeah.
Dude, we would
Deadass,
drive
bro.
Cadillacs with rims. I would drive downtown and
Yeah.
smoke a Black and Mild and
Yeah.
think we're cool. In sixth grade, bro.
Bro.
Yeah, we're being
Yeah.
serious,
Damn,
bro. We're
dude.
being serious, and you know,
Yeah,
we're
people in
high
Austin
school.
are built different.
We're in high school. Years pass by. You know, we're still involved with soccer. We're still close friends. More guys come into the scene of our friend group. You know, Bali comes in. Danny Bands comes in. You know, Nolvis has been friends with us for a long time. Primo, Bali's cousin, comes into the scene. We meet a lot more people. And the whole time we've loved soccer. We've talked about soccer all our life. We played it up until the era of playing outside was over. We met up at schools, got kicked out of schools because we ruined portables. Because we used to hit the crap out of the ball and it would ruin like the metal sheet on the side.
Yeah.
We had cops kick us out of certain schools or whatever. And so, you know, we grew up in that life. And then Austin FC comes around. We're adults by then pretty much, and we have the ability to make our own decisions. We have our own money. We're starting to work or whatnot, and we get together and we're like, "Yo, let's start this project." You know, we knew of teams in the EPL that had pages that were similar to what we're trying to do right now. And at first, I just wanted to make graphics for the iPhones. I just wanted to have my own Austin FC wallpapers. But then I started making stat graphics and player probably coming to Austin graphics, and then a new player arrives, a welcome graphic, and then you know I started to get more into graphic design, this and that, and then you know usually every graphic that we post, I make it or
They're
I used
quality
to make it.
graphics, bro.
But you know after time went by, we've gotten guys like Verde Nation ATX who's come in and said, "Hey, I like to do graphics. Let's collab." And other people also shout out to Nacho Chivagrafia. We're trying to get him a job with a team in Liga MX. I've written at least 2 letters for him already to give him his job interviews, and he said that they've gone
Nice.
well. So you know, what I like to think of is Washington TV turned into like an opportunity. You know, it turned into a
Yeah.
platform for people, you know, that can use our audience and showcase their talent, because there's
Love
people that have talent out there that just need a chance. They just need a shot.
100%.
Plus,
Yeah.
there's people out there that don't know what they want to do. And then
Yeah.
like for me, I joined the trades quickly. I was an electrician. And then as soon as I started to get into graphics and having fun with videos and stuff, I'm like, well, this is awesome. You know, some people don't have that outlet. And whenever we, like H with graphics, me with video, we
It
kind
made a
of fell
good
in
team.
love. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, dude, I
Nice.
want to get good at this.
And
You
it
know
just
what I
it
mean?
just took
So-
off from there, and we've had guys come in like Alex, football critic, who's kind of taken on the face of like the press, taking he's our face in the media. You know what I'm saying? He's up there in the press box for Copa America. He was talking to players or whatnot, and it's something that you told me, George. Our relationship goes back since both teams came into the league. We've been talking for a long time, but I told you the other day, I was like, one thing that you told me that really resonated with me, I was like, you told me, you got to turn into a quarterback. You got to start giving jobs out. You can't do everything yourself. And it's true, from then on, we got in a graphic designer because I wanted to stop doing match days because they took a lot of time out, and I wanted to focus on other things. We have a graphic designer now from Mexico, Nacho. He's the one that does all the match days. We have other guys that do this and this and that. But, B and I still put in probably I'm not going to say 2 cents, we put in our whole dollar still, so
Yeah.
because just because somebody comes in and they help do a job doesn't mean that, you get complacent. It means that they're
100%.
taking care of that. Now you do something else.
Yeah, for you to continue to
You
build the brand
continue-
even
exactly.
more.
And the key to I think it is that the enjoyment of doing this and loving the sport. Like
Yeah.
we're not, it could be a lot of work, but to me, I'm enjoying this. Like staying up
Yeah.
late, cooking videos, graphics, going to games.
Yeah, you kind of
I
got to love the
enjoy it,
grind
bro.
if you
Yeah.
do this.
And
That's the beautiful thing is loving the grind.
And
you
one
know?
thing that B and I have kind of always had in our minds, and something that I always kind of remind myself of it is that it's an opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And I would hate, when I'm 60 years old, hopefully I make it to 60 or whatever, 70. I would hate to look back at something and be like, you know what? I should have gone harder.
100%, bro.
I should have done
Yeah.
this. I should have done that.
I was reading somewhere that they interviewed people at these retirement homes.
Oh, I seen that.
And it's more they always talk about the things that they didn't do versus the things that they did, right? And so it's the same thing, man. So kind of walk me through, right? I guess how you guys, when did you guys make that decision to go from, okay, we're just doing graphics to you know what, let's truly cover this team?
Damn.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
I'm gonna have to say I think season 2 when we were actually good. I think that once we actually push it, bro.
Yeah, because season 1 people
was-
kind of
It was
ridiculed us. They were like, "Oh, these guys are gonna fade in and out." Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, these guys are just negative. Oh, these guys are just trying to get a click or whatnot." But after a while, like B said,
Yeah.
we turned out to be the page that had kept up with the team.
we
more
had
than
a,
anybody.
We had our little at the beginning. We weren't really, I guess, looked upon good by our own fan base. And I don't want to. I'm not saying that we were hated or anything, but maybe
Yeah,
we're
I
like,
agree.
who are these guys? Whatever. And then we kept at it. We kept growing, and then now we're like, So I think at the point where we won over our own fan base, I think that's when we're
And
like,
I
can
say
get
I say
serious.
also a turning point that kind of woke us up a little bit as to what we were gonna be walking into was when we were posting all the stadium stuff early on. I think when
Yeah.
Alexi Lalas, picked up some of our footage, when Josie Altidore retweeted some of our footage, and the whole country was able to see what was building in Austin, Texas, and who was posting it, we were thinking oh well, we have an opportunity here. And one thing that I've always said to the boys is imagine going back to Los Angeles in the early 90s, and you're one of the first people to open up a sushi restaurant or a dispensary, and so that's how I see Austin FC. We're only 4 or 5 years in, but I'm thinking 10 years in the future. I'm thinking 15 in the future. Imagine going back, and we've been there since day one.
Yeah,
So
that's the beauty of
And
it.
that's the beauty
and
of
we
it.
accepted the notion of this is gonna take grind. This is not gonna be we accepted the long run.
Yeah.
We didn't just we'll do this and then in a month we'll have this. No, we knew that it was gonna be we'll grind this out, and eventually years to come we can maybe reap some rewards by having a bit of an audience.
And,
you know
and
what I mean?
there's been ups and downs. We're not
Yeah.
going to pretend it's been perfect. We've had members that have dropped out because of life circumstances, things change in their life, and I understand.
For
And
sure.
we've taken hits. This is our, third studio?
Yeah, like any business too,
Yeah.
right? It has its ups and downs,
Mhm.
right? But then you start kind of seeing the longevity, I think, and that's where I think we kind of have that mutual respect because we know how hard
Game
It
recognized
is.
game, bro.
Game recognized
it
game.
is to do
Yeah,
some
we
of
see
these
that.
things. right?
And my life changed recently with the baby, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to
He's got the
me,
goat excuse.
to
Can't say it.
goat excuse.
Goat
yeah.
excuse. Can't say nothing.
Now, there's one thing that I'll say is like when when this should be Patreon talk, but I felt like there was folks that maybe thought, oh, finally, We're Watching TV is gonna go away. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they thought that the baby was gonna ruin We're Watching TV or maybe take the time out or whatnot. But shout out to the boys because they've also stepped up and they've also said, you know what, if he's gonna be out for some days, we're gonna step up and do our thing. B will do interviews with the fans. Primo will step in and do camera work, and Alex is at the press box or whatnot. If I have to stay home, I have to stay home. But also, I mean, it's not just me. I also want to send a shout out to my wife. I mean, she's instrumental in this whole process. Without her, I can't do a lot of the things that I do now.
Yeah, I think that's important, bro. Having a
100%.
partner that understands and sees the
100%.
vision of what you're trying to do as well.
Because if you're doing this, you got to have a good support system. If you have a family or you're single, you know what I'm saying, or you're single, you have no kids or whatnot. But you have to have a good support system if you have like a partner, if you have somebody there, and they also have to understand the grind. Like my girl, she understands it 100%. Like she knows I'm here. She knows what I was gonna do today.
Yeah.
She knows that I'm showing TopBin90 around. And it's not the first people I've done it. I've done it for Tactical Manager. I've done it for a lot of people
gotta
that come
say,
into the city.
you've been first class, bro. Just ever since you knew we were coming here, you've been attentive to us. Hey, how can we help you? And I mean, that just speaks volumes to me of more of who you are as a person. And I'm like, I batted for you guys before, and this just makes me want to bat for you even more. You know
and
what I'm saying?
That's what we want to do is we want to give like we recognize the work y'all doing. Like, hey, let's work. Let's show each other love and stuff. So
And that's the energy that I put out to the universe. I'm a big believer in vibes and energy and positive stuff like that and whatnot. And when something is off, it's off. Trust your gut. So I try to put positive energy out there to try to come back to me. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm a pretty lucky person in the sense that not too many terrible things have happened to me. The bad things that happened to me are because of my own fault. I'll say like I fucked something up or something. But I try to put positive energy out there. I know that it's going to come back in some way or form. I mean, I said yesterday, I was like, money comes and goes. To me, like, it's about enjoying the experience that you're in, enjoying the people around you, like what you do. Don't be a negative Nancy. Try to work with the positives. I mean, you guys know the kind of struggles we have in Austin.
I want to touch a little bit on that because people that want to develop, platforms like ours, right? Like, you obviously see the cool things where, like, like people come to you for news, or people like see you guys as like the top people for covering Austin. Like people in Charlotte, see us as kind of, okay, these are the guys that cover Charlotte to like the best, right? Not like putting down anyone else, but that's just the reality of where things are, right? But how do you, for people that want to build something like we have, like, talk to me about when you experience negativity and how you handle that negativity, right?
I got it.
I'll say one thing first.
Okay.
Number one, you need a team. If you're trying to do this by yourself, go look for a team. You're not going to do it by yourself, bro. You're not going to do it by yourself.
You can, but it's going to be super slow and tough on you.
I mean, you can, but you're going to be very one-dimensional in what you can do, what you can't do. I mean,
it's definitely a group effort.
Yeah, and like you start understanding strengths, right? Like, like Francisco,
exactly.
who does all of our video edits, Emmanuel as well, like on camera is great, like. And they both have an understanding of like like editing and stuff like that. I'm not good at that at all.
And you got Brendan Maher.
Yeah, Brian,
chief
who
editor, Brian
is
Maher.
like he's a MLS brain that can tell you stuff that like nobody else knows, and I know like okay, like this is what he's really good at, and I'm not great at that. Like I'm like okay, like I should have said that, or I forgot to mention that.
And that's why I was more than happy to give the media access to Football Critic to Alex, because bro, who doesn't want to hang out in the press box and eat food that the stadium provides and have a beautiful seat and pretty much not have to pay a ticket to go watch a game? Yeah, you are working, but it has amenities to it, bro. You don't think I want that? I'm still paying for my ticket. You know what I'm saying? Like, I send the emails, I send everything to try to get our access or whatnot, and I'm still paying for my ticket. You know what I'm saying? But I know that these guys are better at doing that than what I am.
That's the strength. Plus,
That's the
Alex
strength.
speaks Portuguese
And Spanish and English.
Spanish and English.
He's a doctor in Colombia.
Yeah, so he's got that stuff to it, and then to your point too, like the strength. I'm like personally, for me, being on camera was like it just wasn't part of my thing. I would rather be behind it, recording, editing. I don't mind it for the podcast. We've always wanted to do a podcast before even Austin was a thing. Like I would always bring it up to the boys, like, hey, let's do a podcast before even Austin existed. So, to each person's strength, it'd be you'd have to kind of pick a, because we've had members that had came in, bro, and like they don't really find a groove or find their spot. And I think it's very important that you find a groove or a spot where you can contribute something and just kind of identify
that's
yourself.
good, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll do this or I'll do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Like Primo sits there, that's his spot when he's on pod.
Yeah.
You know, Bali will be on my right, B is on my left. Bali is like talent. You know what I'm saying? You know, you
He's
need
a-
somebody
he's a
that's
character,
He's
bro.
a character.
and
Yeah.
I think that's it helps us a lot that we've been boys since we were young.
Yeah, the
So
And
that
our-
dynamic
The
is
dynamic
like,
is like,
Yeah.
you know, when we first started Top Flight, we were like, man, we essentially had podcasts before we had a podcast. We would get in the backyard, you know, have some drinks and just talk about football and shit on
Santi's
Madrid for being
backyard.
like this or not. Chelsea Hazard's been sleep, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, why don't we just record this?
Yeah.
And essentially that's
That's
what
where it was
Top Flight
born.
came from.
yeah.
Yeah, but just get a team. Dealing with the negativity that we had at first is just, you know, just try to endure it. I mean, honestly, going to the middle school that we went to really toughened us up in the way that we were able. Kind of like
Yeah.
Dean Smith coming from the EPL to the MLS. I mean, when we got into the Austin FC atmosphere to the community, I mean, if there was one,
That's a fair point.
there was
yeah.
one situation when one of a big Austin FC fan member, he came over to where we were doing fan reaction. He was like, "Fuck your shit. You guys are all negative, this and that. You shouldn't, you know, your channel is shit, whatnot." And I'm a very calm person, bro. I've never really been involved with
But the
fights.
boys-
You know, the boys were
The
something
boys are
else.
searching for something like
But-
that.
but
They're
even
like,
then-
oh yeah,
Even
finally.
then, even then
You
I
know?
got hot. Like I stopped doing reactions real quick, and I went after the dude. I was like, "What's up? What's up?" You know, like something took over me. Something came over me. I was like, you know, what
So
up?
Today's
Yeah.
the day.
And then he
He's like,
kept.
the middle school days coming out.
You know,
What
I-
I've been training for.
I didn't recognize who it was at that moment, but you know,
Uh-huh.
the guy apologized. We're great friends now. We're super good. The police also came over and they were like, "Y'all good? Everybody's good?" No, it's like, dude, don't even worry about it. Misunderstanding. The guy was he was a little bit inebriated, drunk, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
Inebriated.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
word, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Inebriated. And
He's drunk.
he was drunk. He was
Dang.
drunk.
Man.
And
I'll just send the AP. Drop
That might
now.
be the title.
And so just dealing with that, it's just I've tried to listen to everybody. I try to understand where everybody's coming from. Me myself, I've talked to thousands of fans, done so many hours of Twitter Spaces. I've heard all the takes about Austin FC in the world that you can think of, and it's just about listening to what everybody has to say. You know, I treat everybody's opinion the same.
to your original point in question is, bro, our first year, we were looked at from Austin FC fans as like, because we gave fans a mic, a voice,
Yeah.
and our first year was really bad, and the fans were like, man, I paid $140 and we're beat this, beat that, like, man, this suck, beat the, and we would post it, and then fans would be like, why are you doing this? Why are you
Support the
posting
team blindly?
Support the team blindly.
Somebody
Let's
told
do
us that.
That's
Somebody
crazy.
told us
We
that.
got a lot of hate, maybe just not support from a core of the fan base at the beginning because we were magnifying fans' attitude. But guess what? Season 2 came around, and it was all, I love this team. This team's amazing. We give fans a microphone, a voice that reflect the club.
Yeah.
It's not us. We're not telling people.
100%.
We're not telling people, hey,
You're not like,
say
hey,
this.
yeah.
Hey, say that. No. If the club is doing bad, the fans are gonna reflect that. If the
Yeah.
club is doing great, the fans will reflect that as well. So
And-
we got a lot of hate in the beginning for that.
And I'll say this. I'm not going to say any names because I don't want to. But
I'll-
I've had a player message the account, and they've said, you guys just create a negative atmosphere. And I told them back, bro, if I wanted to, I could. I could so easy,
Yeah,
bro.
100%.
So easy, bro. But no, you have to hold stuff back. George, I mean, the conversation we've had the past 48 hours, I mean, have really put me on game. And for the next 3 years of my life, I feel like I have a plan that I need to set in stone to make what we have here bigger.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
what I see with TopBin90, I see the trajectory that you guys are going, and I absolutely admire it 100%. And you know, we can be an example to other people, but still we're still growing, and you guys are an example to us. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of how you guys navigate in the social media landscape that you guys are in. It's not easy, you know, to try to work in this world.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to ask you guys that, because like when you experience negativity online here, it's very like there's people that like they don't see like, okay, like these people that go on Twitter, sometimes they don't even have a face, but they're ready to go in on you
Yeah.
about
I
whatever.
love those accounts.
Right? But you have to learn how to develop that thick skin, because as the channel grows, as you get bigger, the size of the growth is gonna depend on the size of the ability to take on different issues, to have thick skin, to not let things just get under your skin
my skin is
as
thick,
easily, right?
It's thick.
I'll say this, it was very easy for me to get a microphone in my hand because in high school I was in the debate team. I was not a debater, but I used to supply topics to the actual debaters, and we had to do presentations in front of the class. And one time I went up there and I shit the bed. I froze, bro. I froze, and there was a girl. She was like, "Just read your notes. Just read your notes." And I was just like, bro, I didn't know what the hell to say, bro. I was shocked. I didn't know what happened. And then time went by and whatnot. And there's a thing in our high school that's called the spring show. And there's a dance team, right, where the girls, they do a choreographed dance with the boys, and it's like a show in the spring, and you buy tickets.
Type thing?
It's like a baile sorpresa.
Okay.
Right, and so the girls on the dance team, they pick their partner. They say, "Hey, can you do the guy dance with me?" And you say yes or no, right? And so I was chosen like 3 times to do it.
Dang. Okay.
Facts. Hey, facts.
Hey.
And by
He's
the
like, yeah, I've always had game.
and by the captain of the team too. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But
Dang, bro.
great
Great
friend.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm too cool to dance, man.
Facts.
My high sideways. Nah.
She's a great friend now though. Great friend now though. Shout out to her for really taking me out of that show. And so I would be on stage dancing in front of my whole high school. And so that really brought me out my show. And then after high school, I started working at a bingo hall. And I started on the floor selling tickets, and then they saw that I had ambition, and they put me on the stage as a bingo caller. So I was a bingo
B7.
caller. Exactly.
Bingo.
I was a bingo caller for like 2 years, like on stage. And then I left and I got into the trade because I wanted something that my family respected. That's really what it is at the end of the day. My family, they didn't really respect what I did. They thought it was just like a joke job. You know what I'm saying? And that hurt me to the core because I was trying to provide for my fam, and they didn't respect what I did. So I was like, it kind of took a hit on me. And I would get home really late because I would work midnight, afternoon, and early, afternoon, and midnight bingo all in one day. And so I would leave at the house at like 10 in the morning or 7 in the morning actually, and I wouldn't get home till like 3 in the morning after midnight bingo. So I would be at home eating Whataburger by myself, number 13, barbecue sauce with Dr. Pepper. And I'd be eating by myself, and I felt like I was dying. I felt like my soul was dying because I didn't have any interaction with my family. I was always gone. I was always working. But then this Austin FC stuff came around, and it does take my weekends, right? Sometimes, right? But my family really likes what I do now. They respect my current job. I like my job a lot too. I was looking for it as something like that, and the longevity of what I do now is fantastic.
And it's cool that we're in the same trade. We're in the same union. I joined in at 8. I graduated high school. 3 months later, I was in the trades already.
I'm about to get my journeyman's license.
Yeah.
So you got to be 4 or 5 years into the game, and then boom. And then the way that Brian explained it to me was pretty cool. It's like I was already at the top of my ladder. Talking about bingo, I was already a caller at such young. I did it. The thing about me was like I was able to become a caller the fastest that the company has ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Like the company was North Lamar Bingo. They told me like you're the fastest one that's ever made it to the caller from usher to the caller, and nobody's ever done it faster than you.
Quick.
Wow.
I got up the ladder quick, right? But then it was nowhere to go. And then the way that B explained to me was like this ladder is. It doesn't stop. Like you're still gonna keep climbing. Like where you're at, you're here, but the ladder that you can be at is right here.
And I got a lot of criticism when I first joined because there was the reason why I explained it to him.
Our friends are toxic.
Our friends are really toxic, dude. The way that I explained to him was explained to me by an older guy. It's like, dude, you're doing a great job coming into this trade because there would be. I was on the first step of this big ladder while others around me were at the top of shorter ladders and looking down on me.
Yeah.
And they were like, what are you doing? I was making $12 an hour. I was digging a ditch, 100-degree weather, sweating my ass off,
And this was a different Austin. Union contracts have changed.
Yeah.
The city has a lot of work now, so
and
the worker is now in a better position.
So and then there's people that are in AC office job that are making 18 that are like, bro, why are you
why are you killing
12?
yourself? Yeah.
And I was like, dude, it's
about the ladder.
It's about the ladder, dude.
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, I'm higher than than
where they plateaued.
where they were plateaued at, and to me, I take that mentality into this game, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's all right if you're making fun of our video of this with 10 views when we posted it or whatever, 10 likes or whatever. It took an hour to cook. I posted it and then no engagement. It's all right. It's the grind. It's the grind. We'll keep making better videos, make better graphics, learn from our mistakes, and then make better content. And we're just gonna keep climbing this ladder.
Yeah, I think that's very important to mention too, because sometimes people like they think they have to have everything perfect before they start. And bro, I'm like, to this day, like my spelling, I'm always making mistakes with that. And you know what?
Guy.
And then I'm like,
shout out ChatGPT.
yeah, for sure, bro.
ChatGPT.
And I own outside of TopBin, I own a social media company. So like,
Seventh Peak.
yeah. So I mean, I'm
Shout
like the stuff, like a lot of the strengths that I should have to do these things, I don't have. But the reality is, I have the passion and I have the work ethic. And when you have those two things, bro, like the other things will solve themselves. So if anyone's like, hey, I want to start something, and then I had probably 80 reasons why not to do this, and you guys probably did too, but we did it anyways.
And if you're listening to this and you may be interested in doing something like this, or we motivate you and do some things, you got to ask yourself, are you willing to grind first? Are you willing to grind first? Are you willing to stay up late? Are you willing to make some stuff, put it out, and get no engagement, and to keep going past that? That needs to be the first question you ask yourself, because if you are down and you keep at it, like you said, it's
about the long game.
It's about the long game.
Yeah,
it's about
bro.
enjoying. How does that phrase? But this is famous because like it's not about the destination. It's about the
journey.
The journey, bro. And that sticks with me. I'm all for that. Bro.
And one thing I do want to add into this topic that we're in right now, I think my upbringing had a lot to do with the kind of work ethic that we have, because when I used to come home from school, my dad, he always had something to do. I was like, God damn, bro, you like, do you ever?
He's like that guy on Instagram whose stuff is always breaking. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. My dad always had something to do. Is either like, help me cut the grass, or like hand pick the weeds from the front yard. It's like, what? There's millions of them, bro. Like, what are you talking about? And then, we got a piece of land on the outside of Maynard when I was in high school. And so every summer after junior, every day in junior year after I come home from school, before I got my actual job, I would go with my dad and my uncles to clear the fence line, and that was a historic period in Austin, because it was a historic drought. No other cattle have died of heat exhaustion ever in the history of Texas, except that year, which was 2011. It was a major drought. And so we bought the piece of land in that time, and we had to go out there, clear the fence. But I think that really helped me out in where I am today in this landscape, because every time that I get home, I have something to do. Either I got to work something on the laptop, or I'm applying for a credential, or I'm researching this team, this and that, or whatnot.
Or you get thrown news that at the most random times, 100%. Right? So
I always pray it catches me on lunch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So talk to me about that as well. Like, obviously in this industry that we're in, like, like news can come at you at 7 in the morning, at 2 a.m. at night. Because, with transfer news too, I'm like, bro, like, Charlotte's now interested in a player in Norway or somewhere, or same thing with Austin. Like, how do you guys do you guys have a system of like, okay, like how do you guys handle stuff like that?
So what I do is, I guess putting people on game, is I go on Twitter, then I search the player's last name, I search the club, and I go to latest, and then if anything is popping up on Twitter or whatever, let's like a journalist from Scandinavia or something, I don't even know that's a real country.
Scandinavia is the area.
Okay, my fault. Let's say a journalist from, a recent example, a journalist from Israel, right? He dropped the Abada stuff or whatever when that was going on. Some journalists that you probably never heard of, but you should follow after, right? After they put their stuff out. But I try to search the internet as much as I can. Search and most of the time, one time, the most famous story, the most interesting story that has ever happened with Transfer News Network is that when Ruben Gabrielson left Austin FC, that was unexpected, because he left because his child has special needs, and so they need special care, and our healthcare system in this country is nothing to what Norway has. All right, and so Ruben Gabrielson, he pushed for a move outside the club. The club granted him the request, and they let him go. But somebody that's close to the sporting director of his boyhood club that he went back to, Lilstrom SK, a friend of the sporting director, reached out to us, and he said, well, maybe I kind of put him out there, but a friend of somebody close to the club, maybe we can edit out that, whatever. They reached out to us and they said, hey, this is going to happen. And I was like, ain't no way that's going to happen, bro. And so I sent it to these guys. I was like, guys, what do you think about this? And we were like, I don't know. Ruben Gabrielson, this is his team. Like, why would this make any sense? It doesn't make any sense.
What makes it crazy is that he was, I think he didn't win Newcomer of the Year, but he was right there.
Yeah,
he had a standout first season with us. He was beloved by
People
the
still
fans.
miss him.
He went embraced the fans, so he was very loved. So
And this dude hits us up and he's like, this is gonna happen. You're not gonna get this news anywhere else. And I was confused. I was like, why are you choosing us as your news outlet? But then it hit me like, we cover the team. We're big. We're known. People see our coverage. Obviously, they search up Austin FC. We popped up, so they hit us up. And so I tried to manage that information as best as I could. I made like a cheeky tweet and I said, the news that just came across my desk, ... And I think the atmosphere was already kind of like at an all-time high in the front office because of this that was going on. And somebody from the club reaches out to me and they go, hey, like, what do you know? And they already knew. And I told these guys, I was like, bro, should I tell them? Like, what's up? But, I did. I told them everything that was going on. And, this person, they told me, like, hey, if you can just chill out for a little bit, this is a very serious topic. And I understood 100%. Like, this guy was leaving the country because he has a special needs child. That's nothing to play with. It's not like he's pushing for a move because he's not happy here. This is a family topic.
Yeah.
So I gave it as much as respect as I could, and I didn't say anything until it leaked from the other side of the world.
And to George's point too is to your question was like that's where H comes. H is good at this. Is like when something pops up, he's on it, dude.
Yeah.
He's on it because he could be on a scissor lift or something. He could be driving
should
somewhere.
we tell them about the story about Ricky?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Not OSHA.
Like that's the thing. That's the thing is like this guy. Like for me, it's a little tougher for me to to kind of.
It's just like I get it, like you get like bro like this needs to come out through
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
ASAP.
ASAP.
Yeah.
And to
Like
me,
we had that with when we were at TST with
Tim Rim.
with Tim Ream. We got the news like, bro, if we break this first, like
Oh.
that's huge. And like I left a press conference, I went and wrote a shitty article, right, really fast, right?
get it out. Yeah.
But we got credited by the top people,
Yeah.
right? Because this was huge news.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
Facts.
and it's like that, like you're like
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
like
That's
we're-
where he's
we're the
good at
peop-
that.
Like
He's
we
good at
feel-
that.
It's like a feeling that like comes over
It's
you.
adrenaline. It's like,
Yeah,
I gotta
it
get
is.
it out.
Yeah.
I gotta get it out. Like, it has to
Yeah.
go out through us. And there are other pages in the Austin FC landscape that do break news as well. Not break news, but they share it like we do or whatnot. And, I give credit to whoever is out there doing the same
For
stuff.
sure, we do the same thing because I mean that's kind of the fair thing to do, right? But it also shows you too, like that's why it's important to be consistent because whether you break it or not, when you post it, the engagement is different than
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
That's just the reality.
Oh, yeah, we know
It's
that.
because we've built a little bit of an audience.
Exactly.
We have a core
Exactly.
group. We have a core group of audiences.
And you're consistent, and people expect this from you now.
Yeah, that's what exactly, bro. I feel like it's almost we have to do it now. We're a legit news source for Austin FC, and people tell us all the time like, "Yo, you're the reason why I even keep up with Austin. You're the reason why I have all my news for Austin FC." And then sometimes the club doesn't even throw you a bone or pretends that you don't exist, and it's like it's just a roller coaster of emotions because we own the streets, we have the support of the fan base, but yet we have pushback from the people that we want to help.
Yeah.
We want to help increase their brand, but I understand
Yeah.
that maybe they feel burned by
And that's,
maybe other news outlets or other media outlets, and
Yeah.
it's just a little frustrating.
and we've been
sometimes.
talking about twin flames, but I think that's what sets us a little bit apart.
Yeah. Listen, from our perspective, I gotta say that like, obviously we've done a great job, but Charlotte FC, they have done a great job of helping us get the access we need for the people. They've understood that from the very beginning that they saw the potential in what we could do. And you know what? They don't always like what we have to say or what we do, but they respect it because they understand the grind. I mean, like I would put the
That's
Charlotte
beautiful,
FC, the Charlotte FC comms department is top tier. Like I would put them against anybody in the world. Like there was a time I was heading to a I think it was a press conference that Dean Smith was doing, and one of their comms guys texted me and said, "Hey, like there's traffic on this area. I don't know if you're coming, just in case, try to find another way. Like, they don't have to do that, bro. Like,
They
you know,
want
like
you there. They want
they
you there.
want me there, and they're making it easy for me. I'm like, bro, like, this is such first class level treatment that, like, I truly appreciate that. And I think that's just like, we know that we have to give people, we have a responsibility to give people news. But when people like that treat you well as well, like that, I'm like, you know what, like, having that great relationship, I really respect a lot of people there because they don't have to do what they do for us, but they do it anyways.
And that's where we differ because we're gonna be honest, we get none of that. Like we.
I'll say this though, maybe we need to put our part too, bro.
what do you mean?
Because I want to say this. I mean, you know, Bali, he's very outspoken.
But okay, but that's the thing. What to his point, it says they may not agree, they might not, but they recognize the game, they recognize the grind, and
Right.
And
I think also as a creator and somebody that's around these circles too, like, you know, like, we know from our perspective, everybody that follows Charlotte FC from the top to the bottom are gonna see what we do.
yeah.
Right. So, like, if you're out there, like, just blatantly disrespecting, I'm not saying you guys do this, but, like, if you're really gonna give it, expect to take it, right?
Exactly.
So that's the only thing I have to say, right? Because, like, if we really have a go at a player, we're gonna see them week in and week out. So we better be prepared for that. And we've had people DM us some negative stuff, threaten to sue us, stuff like that, right? You know, allegedly.
But
Just in case, I don't know if I have to say it, but I'm gonna say it.
to that point, you know, at least let us know that like what is it that maybe you don't, that you see from us that maybe is keeping us from, you know, doing certain things. It's like let's have some sort of communication, middle ground, like,
For
okay,
sure, bro.
what do we do? What
So
do you do?
I think
Like,
it
what-
takes
what
both
do you want?
parties. Like, you're right.
Exactly.
Like, it's on them, and then maybe, like H said, right? Like, maybe what are some of the things that you guys can improve on,
Exactly.
right? Because
Exactly.
there's things that we still need
some
to improve
dialogue,
on.
some communication,
Yeah.
some, like, you know. But
Yeah.
I will say this: the Austin Comms team, they're great. You know, the people that I've talked to with them, you know, they've always showed us respect. You know what I'm saying, and whatnot. And maybe there's stuff that, you know, that we can change from ourselves. And after talking with TopBin90, I mean, I'm ready for a couple of tweaks and changes here, because the opportunity is there. You know what I'm saying? The opportunity for us to grow is there. You know, I feel like we could also put our part.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To you know,
But-
try to help them out too.
Okay,
to get
but
the access that we want.
that's
as well.
fine. But like, the way that I see it from us is like, okay, we're here like to talk. Like, what do we what do we do? What do you want us to do? How can we, you know?
We're also not puppets.
We're not exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
But we don't have that opportunity to be like, hey, what can we do?
It's like
What
you
do we
guys
do?
haven't found that common ground yet. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. And
So-
you know,
Hopefully next year's different. You know, I
Yeah.
really want to, you know,
Yeah.
have a better relationship. If I don't, the relationship's good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just there's no beef or
But
anything like that. It's just we
it's-
just want the access that we
it
deserve.
stands out because when we see y'all's content, we're like,
How are they so close to this
What-
person?
what's
Yeah.
going on?
But then that's where
What-
I say we're like, you know, like, that's the stuff that, like, if they didn't let us in, we couldn't get that out to the public, right?
Facts.
Yeah.
And then people, like, appreciate Swiderski talking to me and saying how what he's seeing right now coming back to the club, we're giving them that information up front because they follow us. And similar thing to you guys. I got 2 more questions and we'll kind of wrap up like this, but this has been great so far. I love it. You know, maybe talk to us about what are some of, like, you would say the top 3 things as a creator that stand out to you guys.
What do you mean, like stand out? Like,
Like, is it like things like when you think of people that create content, what are some of the things that you guys do or that you see out there that, like, okay, like, this is what makes a good creator?
for me, the what comes off to my mind quick is like a bit of, and this might sound, I don't know, people take it, a bit of swag to them, a bit of flavor to them, a bit of like something.
Are they wavy?
Are they wavy? You know what I mean? Are they?
Nice.
Are they? I don't want to hear a guy. And look, no, this is no diss to any content. If you're like, hey, that's what. No, I'm not. I'm just saying
I'm a back up
what
your
what
take.
stands out to me is like I don't want a guy that just state out facts and straight face and today we want, I want some flavor. Hey, it's a top bin 90 plus 7 minus 9 divided by 5. You know what I mean? Like that flavor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, that is what catches my
Facts,
eye.
facts.
So to me, that's the one thing that stands out.
For me, is the editing and the process.
The production.
I mean, I've mentioned before that there's podcasts out there that I follow, not necessarily for their takes, but because of their editing and their clips and their transitions and the fact that they can pull me in and watch the length of their clip and maybe even rewatch it because of the transitions and the clips and whatnot. I mean, something that you guys put out recently, the Dean Smith, the Aston Villa story that he gave when he was a little kid. He got on the team bus, and all that stuff. I mean, as the story was being told in the background, I was also getting a visual aid. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I was following I felt like I was watching a movie. I was hearing it and I was watching it, like the Champions League, the bus, and all this stuff. Dean Smith. So for me, it's the editing process. And what B was saying, when I back him up on this point, is the talent. You can't just do it without having the talent. You got to have a little bit of charisma, a little bit of talent, and that's what I think Emmanuel has a lot of. He has a lot of charisma. I said that Cisco was more chill, but in the sense I said it that, like, this guy, I could feel his aura from where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I can have a conversation with him, and he has a smile on his face for the whole length of it. You know what I'm saying?
You could tell meeting someone, their character. Like I've throughout my life, I've dealt with a lot of characters, bro. Like characters, bro. Like certain things, and that's what I respect the person that does something unique or has a unique thing to them, and to me that stands out. Like
what, no, I'm just thinking about Ms. Robinson falling down the stairs.
Shout out, Ms. Robinson.
No shout out to her. Remember? Okay.
Yeah, no shout out to her. She was mean to us, bro.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think these are things, especially like if you're in this world that you watch, right? Like to me, it's like, oh, they do a really good job of doing this, or oh, okay, like this is great, or like why are they do? Like I always, when I look at things, I don't just look at what they're putting. I'm trying to figure out why they're doing it, how it's being done, and why it's effective.
I also try to be as entertaining and informative as possible. The character that I have on, that I took over the Top Flight and We're Watching TV, like, yeah, it's me, but I've also put in my 2 cents and try to be entertaining. I try to give you like something. I try to give you something that you can listen to for an hour.
And what's good about our show is that, like, Bali is Bali, and I'm like the opposite. I think, like,
I know that. So I'll like.
He's more of a what do you call it? A pessimist or something. He's
I'm like a neutral.
He's got his views and he's hard on his views, and I got my views and I'm hard, and our views are like different, but we're boys. Like we can have discussions. Like he'll say this and I'm like, nah, bro, no, it's this, and then he controls that. So I think our dynamic is gold.
Sometimes it gets out of hand, but people appreciate it.
We've had some
borderline fights,
some moments.
Nice. And then my last question is maybe like your most favorite, like the most memorable moment, like that you've had so far, building, We Are Austin TV, and we'll share ours too.
The most memorable moment. I mean,
something that really stands out to you guys.
When Drusy tagged us at the end of the season on the photo, I think that was a really big moment for me. I was like, yo, he tagged us on a photo. He recognizes our grind or whatnot. That's cool. But also when we went to the Western Conference Final with LA, we got smacked. But the lessons that we learned and that trip really gave us a boost for the next year, because we saw the kind of culture that they were building out there, and we were like, yo, we kind of want that in Austin too. So that kind of like woke us up a little bit and saying and thinking or visualizing what we could be in the future. And to me, that was a very memorable moment. Also, just real quick, beating LAFC 4-1 with Bell at home, that was really cool.
Nice. That's mostly like, and I agree with H, like heights of our coverage for Austin. But like personally, memorable personally, like to me, regardless of Austin's doing good, was being a part of the construction of our stadium, bro. The beginning, to me, I could watch photos and like go back to that feeling of not of having 200. We only had like 200, 300 followers. But to me, that stands out. That feeling stands out to me because of like being there, just covering that, and just like the realization, like, oh, we're doing this, And to me, that is, to me personally, is the most memorable. Plus, at that time, it was a personally level. It was probably a height time for me. Like, you know, everything outside of the World TV is just everything was just I was in at a dream job,
It's building a stadium.
building a stadium with a dream car. I had just got a 2020 Tacoma. That was my dream truck.
Wait, is it 2020?
2020.
I thought it was 2013.
No, 2020.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
saw it. We were like,
that's
dang, this was
crazy.
pretty
2013,
advanced for
2014.
2013.
So
Everything was falling into
everything
place.
was like I had my dream job, started my dream project with my boys, driving my dream truck. I had just moved out to a very nice apartment. So during those times, it was peak. It was not peak because obviously it's the very beginning. I wouldn't say peak.
But it's memorable.
It's memorable to your question, bro. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. How about you, Manny?
Now you go first.
To me, honestly, what I absolutely adore about what we do is game day when I go into the stadium and I'm walking around, like as I'm headed to do kind of our like video about what the match that's going on, where I'm in there, I see the crowd and people are like, yo, Top Bin, and I'm walking through and like it's just very surreal because growing up we never had that in Charlotte, and you know that like from Austin perspective, right? Like I would watch Barcelona, I would watch Liverpool because these were my teams. I would watch Honduras, right? You know, and I would support, but I could never feel that passion because I'm not there, you know? Like I felt it inside, but I know I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But when I go to our match days, it's so unreal, like being there, you know? And those are the moments where like all the BS that goes on behind the scenes that nobody else sees, those are the moments I enjoy the most. And that really sticks out to me.
Man, I need to enjoy those a little bit more because like I've had similar situations where they say we're Austin TV, I love what you do, all this stuff, and I'm like, you know what, thank you. And at the moment, I'm like, you know what, thank you so
He's
much.
a celebrity, bro. There's people like, hey, make a picture with you, eh?
For sure.
And
Like I was telling him that too. Like someone asked me to sign the jersey. I'm like, bro, I'm not even a player. Or they've had a fat head of me.
Yeah,
in the
I've seen
stadium.
that.
I've seen that one.
I've
You know,
seen
so it's like very like
That's a
humbling,
fat-ass head,
you
though.
know.
He does have
It's
a
the
fat-ass
biggest
head.
one.
No, but you're right though, bro. It comes with like a little bit of influence, you know. And for me, I love doing Twitter Spaces. The fact that I could conduct a room of like 100 people virtually or whatnot, and like I'm able to give the yes or no when you can speak or not. It's just a little bit of like
You like that control, bro.
Damn.
No wonder you like bingo.
No, hold on. He was
Nah,
telling us
it's
about the
06.
mustache.
Yeah, let me see. Let me check that.
This goes back to the mustache, doesn't it?
Hey, don't bring it out. Don't bring it out.
I told them about the time that I went to see Rogan and Hinchcliffe, and they were making fun of me. Yeah.
Is that
But-
what?
Yeah.
I was like,
Let's not
when I
pick
saw-
that
when
up.
I
Let's
saw
not
him, when
pick-
I saw him, I was like, oh, he
I
took it
don't
off
think
today.
you want that out there
Yeah.
Oh,
even
he
more.
took-
I took it
My
off.
bad.
I took it off today.
No, but I mean, I like.
If you know, you know.
if you know,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
I
Just
like-
leave it at that.
I like Twitter Spaces. I like talking to the people. That's my thing. I love talking to the folks. I mean, I'll do 2 hours Twitter Spaces and listen to what everybody has to say, and the next day I'm at it again.
I'm more
you
behind
know?
the scenes, brother, and I enjoy that part.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of the face and the spokesperson. B is more like behind the scenes, the editor and whatnot, and I like that. I like.
And I
being-
like that's the thing that works with us too. Is that I like work. You know, I
Yeah.
enjoy this part.
I like being the guy that has to talk to this person or that person or whatnot. And I work on it. I try to work on my vocabulary to sit at the table that these people sit at, because if you don't speak the way that they do, they look down on you.
I had to adjust mine. Let's just say my
So-
vocabulary. I had to study.
So
it.
I try to listen to audio books. I try to pick up on every words that I can. I'm still learning. You know,
All of us, bro. I mean, that like none of us had a background in
No,
like, journalism, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But saying that, bro, at the end of the day, what I love about, and you said this last night, and I feel like this in Charlotte, like we on the streets, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
on the
that's the
streets.
reality.
It's a
Yeah,
reality.
it really is.
100%. 100%.
Manny,
I think my favorite part about this is like just talking to people. I just love meeting people,
he does.
especially like like he can tell you like I'll talk to anybody,
Bro,
anytime,
yeah.
like
Damn,
whatever.
we're
I think
opposite,
your
bro.
wife's dad said that, right? That like you just like can talk to anybody, something like that.
So I just like talking to people, interviewing people, laughing, joking. That's the part that I love most about this, is that I get to meet so many people from different backgrounds. And I mean, with my businesses and stuff, I don't really get to do that. Just because most of the people, like, they're local and they're going to tell me the same story somebody else is going to tell me. But doing media, it's from anywhere. Like, dude, Like we've met people from Colombia, like Venezuela, stuff, and like the press boxes,
Yeah.
and their stories
Yeah.
are just great.
Yeah.
That's the
Before,
one.
if you didn't know him and you saw, you would think he knows this person, and like
Oh,
they just
okay.
met like 5 minutes
That-
ago.
That's crazy because that's the one thing that I've the most like changing that I had to do this content stuff. I had to try to embrace that, bro, because I was a guy at the beginning who was like, if I don't know you, I'm good. Like, you know,
that's where I come in.
I exactly. He was cool with the gangsters, the girls, the preppy guys, the nerds.
So I'm telling you,
he was cool with
I
you.
was in the dance, I
Yeah,
was in
so
debate, and I was with the Mexicans.
With me, the way
Dang, yeah.
with me, the way that I came up was like, if a stranger is nice to you, he wants something from you, or he's scoping you out. He's gonna kick your door in the
I'm
next
telling
day.
you,
like-
burning was like jail, bro.
So to me, like, if I don't know you, like, so I had to work on that aspect
Yeah.
of myself, is be more open minded to meeting new people, and I've been working on that.
Yeah, but no, I mean that's just my favorite part of it. I mean, to be honest, just like Jorge said, I mean, I literally had a guy at my proposal that I had met like 6 months ago.
Okay.
But we just click like that, you know.
Cool.
Yeah,
Like,
that's-
you know,
that's
it
good
is what it
aura.
is. That's my favorite part about
Nah,
all of
yeah.
this that we do.
I mean, that just last thing I'll say is high school had a lot to do with what we're doing right now because, like I said, I was involved with a lot of people in high school. I was in like extracurricular activities like PALS. PALS is like an environmental extracurricular thing where we would clean up parks and stuff, and like I hung out with like band people at
I
that
was
time.
an extra clicker, but other.
So I was.
He's like, we were cleaning up other things.
So I got to meet a lot of people, you know,
Nice.
and that really helped me like navigate different landscapes. And you know, you could put me in any kind of room, and I'll network.
Yeah.
I love that, man.
Yes,
I mean, we'll end that there, like this portion of what I wanted today. But like, I really wanted this because I can't think of better people that do kind of what we do in Charlotte here in Austin, bro. And like the respect that I have for what you guys have built, because to be honest, you guys have it more difficult than we do in certain aspects of what we do. And so my respect level for what you guys do here is through the roof. I
Appreciate you.
anytime someone asks me who are the best MLS creators out there, I always mention you. I was like, these guys are the standard bearer of how
You
this
always say
should be
that.
done.
You always said that to me. That's not the first time you said it, so I know that it's genuine. I know it's real. Because some people will tell it to you and they're lying to your face. Bro.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. Like we deal with a lot outside of the comms things. We deal with similar issues where people tell you one thing or they're saying stuff behind your back
Trust
or
me, bro.
all
Us
this
too.
other
My
stuff,
mom-
right?
My mom she always tells me, she's like, hey, just be safe, because she knows that I engage with a lot of people. And I told mom, I was like, man, I know there's vultures on top of me waiting for me to fall. And
Yeah,
so they could jump
100%,
in
bro.
and start picking at my eyes and all that stuff. I know they're
Yeah.
there.
And I'm good at kind of I'm good at kind of pointing them out too.
Yeah, but he has a great judge of character.
Yeah.
I would like sniff
That's
you out,
that's
dude.
one
I'll-
thing we both like have.
Yeah, we're
Like,
like, wait
as
a
soon as we
minute.
see somebody, we just look at each other like.
For me, it's like I'm the one like, hey, B, check out this guy. This dude's
Like,
cool.
hey,
And then
hold on,
and then
brother.
B will be like.
Yeah,
And,
something's off.
and then 3 weeks later, a month later, something will happen, and I'll be like, "See," and I was like, "Bro, you're right. You were
Yeah.
right." But
Nice. Well, I appreciate you guys, man.
definitely.
Thanks so much
Facts.
for the time here.
Definitely.
I know you
Yeah,
want to
thanks
get
for
into a couple
everything,
other
man.
things real quickly,
yeah,
right?
now before we do end, I do want to answer some Patreon questions from our subscribers. There's not that many questions here, but they do have some stuff for Top Ben 90. Now I want to start off with my GJC overall 17. He says, how much access to the players and coaches does Charlotte allow Top Ben 90? Do you struggle to get team access, or do they foster a relationship with you to promote the club? Now you
We
kind of
kinda
hinted at that the
we kinda-
episode.
Yeah.
You could-
I think 100% they've fostered the relationship to help us promote the club, because they see they're like, this guy is a very strong voice in the Charlotte FC community, right? And so what he has, like, it's more like something's out and they're like, okay, well, we'll at least give him our side of things and they can go out there and talk about it, right? Because what I think we've done is been very fair with how we analyze things, right? So if the team is doing bad, we dissected why is the team doing bad, right? Versus just saying, oh, the coach is bad. Or even when one of our players, Enzo Copetti, blocked us, I still gave the guy the benefit of the doubt, right? And said, you know what, season 2, maybe things will change, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's more of that. And I've been able to foster that relationship where the club kind of trusts that what we're putting out, is fair for the most part.
And maybe that's what we need
Must
to
be
work on a
nice.
little bit, bro. Maybe that's what we need to work on a little bit. I'm gonna definitely make an effort to try to, just clean things up a little bit. you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
and I think it's that but 100% like, to be honest with you, they could remove that access at any time if they felt like it, right?
Yeah.
But they've realized the power of bridging that relationship with me, and not only us, other creators in Charlotte. I just say us because we're probably the most known outside of Charlotte.
Like somebody even upvoted this one. They're like, ew, like, what's up with this question? The one that we just asked. So folks see it. Folks definitely see the guys the work that you put in, bro. So they really they wanted to know, like, how is TopBin90 doing it? But it's all hard work. Nothing is given to you guys.
No, 100%.
Nothing
it's
was
not.
given to you guys. So that's what I admire a lot, because there are industry plans. There are industry plans.
There is. But you know what? Like the people,
favorable
the people, like when you own the streets, as we talked about,
Facts.
they see it.
Yeah.
They see who's
Yeah.
genuine and who's not genuine.
They just had a conversation about it on the Discord the other day, and I was like, I don't want to get involved with it because I don't want to ruffle feathers. But a question for my G, Emmanuel. Right here we have Vanilla Mexican. He says, what's one thing Charlotte FC lacked in their first meeting against Austin FC, and do they feel confident by improving that one mistake?
We didn't really lack anything, to be honest.
Okay.
Just
The
ball
mic,
The
bro.
mic, the mic, the mic.
Oh, we didn't really lack anything. I believe we played good. It's just the ball didn't go in. That was it.
Is the question? Is he saying their first meeting? Because we played you guys in
Charlotte,
Charlotte.
yeah. I think maybe
think they mean
maybe
here.
he might have forgotten about the first meeting.
Okay, so he's just talking about.
Let's
this
talk about
game.
tonight.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
okay.
today.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but you're right. Yeah, Charlotte didn't really like anything today. I mean, last
Just
night.
putting it behind in the net, like
Yeah,
Manny
that
said.
was it.
And then we have a question here from my G Elise. She is a fantastic artist. Does a lot of the TIFO work with Austin FC and the supporters groups. Great artist there. She says, considering our record of winning against East Coast teams way more than West Coast teams, does Austin have a different rep out there in the East?
No. That's the reality.
That's
To
the
be
reality.
honest, like we could probably debate this, but like from my perspective, the East is harder than the West.
Oh, okay. I've heard the opposite.
Nah.
Last night on the space, folks were saying it was the opposite.
No,
Okay.
maybe because you guys are here, maybe because
Bias.
we're there.
Bias.
Right,
Yeah.
it's
Conference
probably
bias.
that, right? But then
Conference
when I
bias.
see like, bro, with Cincinnati,
Yeah,
we got
Columbus.
freaking Miami, we've
Yeah.
got Columbus, New York's are doing well. Freaking, who is it? Like Nashville has always been in it. New England Revolution, like
I think it also helps.
Reds?
Your take is that Seattle kind of declined a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Seattle was up
Yeah.
there with
But
LA.
do they decline because they
but
go
when you
down
think,
and go
but
up?
when you think of the West, I really only think of like, okay,
I
like
see what you're saying.
LAFC is probably top tier right now, and then
RSL, I like RSL right
this
now.
season,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay. Fair point.
I see what you're saying.
But
Now-
yeah, I think that's if you talk to people from the West, they're gonna say the West. If
Yeah.
you talk to people from the East, and
Okay.
like you could go all day,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. Now Aries, big wolf out guy here, one of the leaders of the
The
movement.
Wolfhawk.
The wolf out guy. He was invited to do a game on the field for halftime,
Uh huh.
and he had a wolf out shirt, and they said he couldn't wear it. They made him
Oh,
put something
damn.
else over it. But anyway, shout out to my Jerry's. He says, from a club that replaced its first manager in the middle of its first season, what do the Charlotte boys think of the wolf out movement and Josh Wolf as a manager from the outside looking in?
Listen, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. Like I said, if in 4 years of having this coach, I'm not seeing a trajectory that's positive, it's time to move on. Like Charlotte did that with a coach that had an okay season. So Latanzio got the boot in a season where he had a player die at the beginning of preseason. Right, their main target for the center back to replace him, they didn't get. They got Toloma last minute. We had a sexual allegation allegedly case, right, in Charlotte, right, that same season, right. Going through all of that, the team managed to beat Miami at home last day of the of the season to make the play-in match. So if you're just looking at it objectively like that, like the guy could say, bro, like look at all this that just happened, and I was still able to get the team to a play-in game, right?
Yeah.
And they gave him the can.
Yeah.
And they gave him the can and
Yeah, you
brought
guys
in
did
somebody
get him
that's
there.
experienced and is having us compete where I could see us legitimately fighting for fourth.
Dino.
So
I like that. That answers the question pretty much, Aries.
Yeah.
I want to get Emmanuel's thoughts on this one right here. Ryan Brack 91, he says, Was there any legitimacy to the rumor of Charlotte wanting a ring at the beginning of the season?
So this is a better question for Jorge, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Go ahead, bro.
I'm more with the transfer news, and no, there really
No?
wasn't. Yeah.
There you
Okay,
go.
because yeah, people thought that there was something there, but let's see. We got Ryans, we got JCs, we got Airs, we got Vanillas, and then Bangalov. He says, "Question: when is it too much wolf out?" I don't know. Bangalov kind of wilded with that one. He kind of wild with that one.
That kind of ties into Arias'
It kind of ties
question,
into ideas, but that's all the questions we had, gentlemen. Well, we appreciate you guys taking the time out to not only come to the studio but answering.
Yeah,
our
I love
lovely
it, man,
questions.
because it's like I'm seeing the same thing that happens in Charlotte, just in Austin, you know, where like people just care. They love the team. They care. And I had a conversation with the president about that one time. I was like, because people are mad, it's a good thing. You're really going to have to, when it's really a super red flag is when nobody cares anymore.
Yeah.
That's when you know, like, when they're
Like Houston.
done. Right? It's like when a relationship, like, if your partner's mad, okay, she cares. But then if she's just done, then
Oh,
that's
that's a red
when it's
flag.
like,
Yeah.
R.I.P. It's about to finish.
You ain't
know?
jealous? What? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So.
What the heck?
What was going on?
News just hit.
What is it?
Bro,
New York Red Bulls from the United States are interested in signing attacking midfielder Tomás Pochettino from Fortaleza. However, Leao does not intend to
know how-
negotiate athlete in this window. Other MLS clubs contacted the Argentine player. He was one of our first DPs.
Yeah. I
Another
remember
flop.
Another flop. But he went to South America and he did pretty good. Ish.
He did all right.
He did all right. But, all right, guys.
Diva. Just
That's-
make sure you're getting a diva.
Yeah, Deva for sure. He didn't want to follow Josh Wolf's orders.
He
and
wanted to play where he played,
Yeah.
how he played, how much minutes he wanted. He was a diva.
dang, es algo de los argentinos, ¿no?
Yeah.
Oh, look. You remember what I was telling you about being synonymous with the club?
Yeah, bro.
Homie right here, David Mathis.
Yeah.
Shout out. He says, "Hey, Austin FC, and we're Austin TV.
Yeah.
I truly value your opinion and want to know, with 9 games left in the season, how many points so the boys need to get to the playoffs? I know we only got 1 point last evening, but in my honest opinion, I enjoyed last night's game more than any recent game." But we don't have to answer it, but just goes to the point where
Yeah.
we're synonymous.
We get it's the same thing, bro. Like
Twin
people have
Flames.
opinions, yeah, and they put Charlotte FC and TopBin90. And to be fair, there's other podcasters out there that are growing and they add them
100%,
as well sometimes.
100%.
But you know, one thing that we always talk about, right? Dang.
Dang.
Hey, charge it to the game. Go ahead, bro. Sorry.
I lost my train of thought, but it's just that, man. I think I love owning the streets, bro.
Yeah.
You know, we're always about the people, and it's always gonna be like
Exactly.
that.
That's what our bio is, voice of the people, brother.
The voice of the people, yeah. And we kind of took that and we ran with it, and now folks, they line up to do fan reactions. And to me, that might be the best thing out of all of it. The
Yeah,
fact that people line
that's
up
amazing,
to do fan
bro.
reactions.
People wait till the crowd goes and then they can have their take. It's
Yeah,
just
to
great.
me that's insane. To me, that there's
Yeah.
people that wait to do fan reactions just to talk to me or give their take on the mic, our mic. To me, that is the world. The time that people give us with on the Twitter Spaces and the fan reactions, to me, I could never pay that back. Because I always say, if it wasn't for the people listening, the people that engage with us, we'd just be doing this for ourselves.
Yeah, speaking on that, still gotta edit them. Gotta edit this pod. It's a long one, boys.
But we're gonna break it up into parts too. So, but shout out to Top Bin. Shout out to B, of course, for
Yeah,
for
shout out to
Finally,
welcoming
the
everybody
link
to
up
the-
happened.
Link up,
Bro.
Pendejos. Oh,
Shout out to Cisco working on in the background.
For
That wasn't
sure.
Cisco art.
Cisco
But
art.
boys, I guess is where we can end the pod. The link up.
Let's do it.
But all right, we'll be back with more conversations. Leagues Cup is coming up, and we'll see you guys soon. Later.
Sheesh.